This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Florida State fell out of the AP College football poll after an 0-2 start to the season. Only the third team to go from a preseason top 10 to unranked in the first regular season poll since the rankings expanded to 25 in 1989. 49ers All-Pro left tackle Trent Williams holdouts over. The sides are finalizing a deal. He missed all of training camp as part of his contract dispute. The Niners open up the season at home versus the Jets in 6 days. No worries for the team, though, regarding Williams for Monday night, notes our Harry Douglas.
You know he's a veteran. He's 36 years old. So if you can count on anyone being in tip-top shape and ready for the season outside of football, it's going to be a guy in Trent Williams. You know, football is football, because you're consistently contacting defensive players, and that's a part of being in shape. I just don't feel like they're going to be on a pitch count because they trust Trent Williams so much.
Harry Douglas. As the Jets prepare for that game, defensive end Hassan Reddick remains a holdout. Coach Robert Saleh again today not ruling out Reddick if he shows up this week and ends his holdout.
Why pay more for a great shave? Choose Barbasol, America's #1 brand of shaving cream. Barbasol's thick and rich lather gives you a close, comfortable shave for just half the price of gels. Barbasol.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea, Dixon in 15 minutes. Saints work out a former first-round draft pick at receiver. Brian Kelly meets with reporters recapping the USC loss. A ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, I'm not going to another damn road trip ever again. Muse, write it down. Let Gordy know. Send him a fax. That's what old people do. That's what old people do. Gordy's old.
Wow.
Old people use fax machines. Write him a note. Put a stamp on it. Snail mail. Certified. Only time I'm ever going to another LSU road game is if they're favored by 37 or more. That's it. I'm not doing it again. Not getting my ass on a plane. Not flying around the country. Not going to do shows everywhere. Great time just to watch them lose again. I've been to Lambeau. Yep. I've been to the Rose Bowl. Yep. I've been to Vegas. I'm sick of it. Not going. Went to Atlanta a couple years ago for the SC Championship. They lost to Georgia. Not doing it again. I'm not going to Clemson next year. Don't ask.
What about Ireland? If
not
play
interested.
in Ireland.
Okay, maybe Ireland.
That'd be pretty cool, man.
Maybe Ireland. But I'm not going to the game.
Okay.
Not going to the game. If they're favored by 37 or more, that's my new benchmark. Or I'm not going. Muse filled in yesterday. We were flying home from Vegas. There was a whole herd of LSU fans flying home from Vegas yesterday. We were on the runway in Vegas, and the captain comes on the intercom and says, ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, air traffic control informs us that we are currently 41st in line for takeoff. 41st in line for takeoff. We sat on the freaking runway for an hour and a half waiting to take off.
Good Lord.
So when he announced that, I got up to go pee. I'm like, well, look, I was going to hold it until we got in the air.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, we got a minute. You know what I mean? I'll go pee.
You and half the plane got up to go pee.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness.
So anyway, I hop up, I go pee, and the stewardess or the flight attendant, whatever they're called, you got to be PC nowadays, right? And the lady at the front says, you have to go sit down. I was like,
what?
I'm going to pee. She goes, we're in taxiing situation. Federal regulations require you to be seated with your safety belt fastened. I'm like, we're not moving. So you want to give me a bucket?
That's
So I had to hold it for an hour and a half till we got in the air.
that is one of the stupidest things ever.
You want to talk about like insult to injury there? My goodness. Anyway, it all worked out. I was able to hold it, thankfully. I took deep breaths and thought good thoughts.
That's your own Greg Fokker moment on an airplane right there, bud. That's
it was
what that
close.
is. Yeah.
I was texting, God
mean,
bless. So Jason Ramazan, Mr. Fun's Travel. Jason does an awesome job. The trip was an amazing success other than the game, of course, and Jason's awesome. So travel with Mr. Fun, MrFunsTravel.com. Jason texted me. He's like, hey, bud, like, she gave me a nod. We'll let you know, like, as soon as you can go up. And he texted me, I've totally forgot what I was going to say. What did he text? God dog it. There was something that I was gonna say, and I totally forgot now. He's sitting there texting me from the I know. That's what I texted him. I was like, hey, they can arrest me. They can arrest me when we land. Whatever. It would actually make for a hell of a story on the air. He's like, I'll let you know as soon as you can go up. I mean, he was trying to obviously take care of everything, but anyway, we made it. All right, we got a lot to delve into here. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Tuesday, of course, for his weekly press conference, which is normally Monday, but with Labor Day, they always move it back a day. So maybe of greatest note and consideration was the update on the injury report. Of course, Chris Hilton didn't play, as we know. Princeton Malbrew was injured, and as was Kyle Parker. Parker started in Chris Hilton's place and then left with what we were told during the game was an elbow injury. Here was Brian Kelly's update.
Well, the only disappointing news is Princeton Malbrew looks to have a serious knee injury. We're going to do a little bit more imaging on that today, but the initial imaging was not good. That would be one injury. Kyle Parker, as you know, did not play very much. I think he had a UCL, which is, I guess, the ulnar nerve. Looks to have been an injury that he's going to come back from, but we just don't know how quickly. So we would consider him right now doubtful for this weekend, but we'll see how that goes. I think everything else is, probable in terms of we've got some bumps and bruises that will show up on the injury report tomorrow, but nothing that would exclude them for the game.
Kyle Parker has the UCL. So, Muse, can we get it confirmed? Is Jay Johnson checking to see if Kyle Parker's having TJ?
Yeah, they're gonna have to look at that. One of these, one of these, and of this too.
This, maybe, and this, maybe one of those, and
one of those here, there. Mm-hmm.
Tommy John, maybe. Again, to be very clear, I'm not joking. I don't know that Kyle Parker's having Tommy John, but the UCL tear is the injury associated with Tommy John surgery, which you commonly see for pitchers. It's very odd to see it in football, but maybe landed on it funny. But in any event, one more update from BK on Chris Hilton.
He's ground-based running, but receiver's different. Like, if he was an old lineman, he's playing, I mean, if he's at a different position, he's probably playing. But this is getting a kid that is an elite player and elite speed guy, getting him right where he feels really comfortable that he can get in and out of breaks. So we'll kind of see how he goes through the week. I want to make sure he's 100% before we put him back out there.
So that's, listen, ultimately with Chris Hilton, the decision has to be you're not playing him this week. There's no reason to play him this week against Nichols. If you could get him out there against SC, you would have done it. You couldn't. There's no reason to play him this week. You give him the extra week of rest, and then you get him ready to play on the road against South Carolina, provided he's ready to go there. You feel terrible for Chris Hilton at this point, but to have waited to this to be his opportunity and then to miss games just sucks. I mean, to go all the way through fall camp and spring workouts and all the everything to get to Saturdays to playing games in your senior year. Now he's missed one, likely two of them. That sucks, but you want to have Chris Hilton ready to go because he can stretch the field, and that's something I think LSU is going to need. We went through a lot of I know Musso did a lot of post-game on Monday's show while we were flying back. My general overall take on this ball game is it's massively disappointing because it's a game that you felt like you were in control and you had a chance to win. You had a lead in the fourth quarter, up 17-13, and you had two possessions with an opportunity to build your lead, and you didn't do it. Both times you ended up punting the ball away, and then late in the fourth quarter with two possessions, Southern Cal scored touchdowns to both give them the lead. Then after you tied it, they took the lead with 8 seconds to go and ultimately won the game. So for LSU, and we're going to talk about a lot today, y'all. I want to talk about on the flight home in the airport, there were a ton of LSU fans flying home on Monday, both in the Vegas airport and the Baton Rouge airport, just walking around the hotel. the conversation was the same everywhere, and I'm sure it was for you and your family, your friends, your coworkers, whatever. Do you blame coaching? Do you blame the execution? Did they get too conservative with the play call in the second half? All of that sort of stuff. And I want to delve into all that because I have a lot of thoughts on it. But I look at that game as a game that you very clearly had an opportunity to win and probably should have won. And while that's as disappointing as it is, and as unlikely as it is for you to reach the goal that we all kind of would hope that LSU could reach this year, which is the college football playoff after you lose the opener, all is not lost. And I'm not sitting here trying to paint with sunshine and rainbows, but we have seen the last 2 years under Brian Kelly this happen. Very disappointing loss in the opener. The team rebounds to have a very solid season. I think the same thing is going to happen with this team. If it mirrors the last 2 years, you're going to be 9-3. You're not going to be a playoff team. But I'll tell you, this is how you have to compartmentalize the season from this point. And I do want to talk about playing these marquee openers because it has to go away. Like, if you can find an escape hatch to get out of playing Clemson the next 2 years, you need to do it. I don't know if that's possible, but I would explore it at this point. We'll talk more about it. But if you look at where LSU is right now, your next 4 games are all incredibly winnable. You're hosting an FCS school in Nichols this weekend. Then you're on the road at South Carolina. South Carolina, if you didn't pay attention, won a home game against Old Dominion on Saturday, 23-19. Lenora Sellers was atrocious. They're replacing Spencer Rattler. That is a team void of talent. You should go to South Carolina and win that game, no questions asked. Then you come home and play UCLA. If you didn't see what UCLA did this weekend, they played Hawaii and were trailing in the fourth quarter. They kicked a field goal to tie the game at 13, and then with under a minute to play, kicked a game-winning field goal to win 16-13 at Hawaii. UCLA is a terrible football team. You should drag their face in the mud. And then you play South Alabama. South Alabama has had some success, but South Alabama on Saturday gave up 52 points at home to North Texas. I don't care how good North Texas is. They gave up 52 points at home to North Texas. The next 4 weeks for LSU, you should sleepwalk to 4-1. Get healthy, get better, iron out your wrinkles, go into your open date, take 2 weeks to prepare to hopefully play your best game and to beat Ole Miss. If you do that, you're at 5-1 at the halfway point of the schedule with every single goal still alive. You're going to win your next 4 games. Get to that open date 4-1, playing your best. Take 2 weeks to prepare for Ole Miss. Hopefully win that game. And then you completely redefine the conversation you're having about this team in the second half of the schedule. Now, you don't play a meaningful game until Ole Miss comes in here in 6 weeks. So that sucks. But the good news is it gives you time now to get better coming off of this loss to hopefully be playing your best when Ole Miss comes in here in the second week of October. All right, we got a ton to do. Let me break. Shea Dixon is going to join us. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine. Our show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. We were drinking some delicious Bud Lights on whiskey and wine after the game. Appreciate so much our friends at Mockler Beverage who gave us 3 pair of tickets to give away for the game. Got to meet our winners. So that was in Vegas. That was awesome to be able to do that and help some AFR listeners get into the game there at Allegiant Stadium and be part of that number. It's another way that Mockler is just a great part of our community as well. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. That's Bud Light. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. Shea Dixon, on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us every week to talk recruiting, talk a little bit about the game and some recruiting with Shady when we come back. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Tell you about it every day. 2 amazing hotel properties, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Friday is the first, or Saturday, I should say, is the first LSU home game. So that means Friday, the LSU football Tigers will be at the Renaissance Hotel. Of course, as I say it to you every day, if the Renaissance Hotel can accommodate the LSU football team, the coaching staff, the support staff, essentially the entire football program the night before a game, they can accommodate whatever meeting you have. I mean, they have full team dining. They have the breakout rooms for the different position groups. The whole team stays there the night before a game. trust me, they can host your event as well. Call my friend Allison Crump over at the Renaissance Hotel about having your next event there, whatever it may be. A wedding reception, an awards banquet, a fundraiser. They can do it all at the Renaissance Hotel. Right there on Bluebonnet across from the mall in Perkins Row. You can check them out. It's the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, rolling along here, Tuesday edition of AFR, and glad to have you with us back after a Labor Day weekend. Hope you had a great one. Peter Burns here in about 15 minutes from right now. Shea Dixon joins us every Tuesday on 3, the Bengal Tigers. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good. Before we get into the recruiting stuff, any big picture takeaways from Sunday night's loss to USC?
I mean, I think that, look, and you can be doom and gloom, and I get it. I think a lot of that's probably the 5 straight losses and season openers and feeling like you had so many chances to win that game and didn't put them away. But I think as the dust settles on it, at least, I rewatched the game a couple times because it's kind of not the same when you watch it from the press box or whatever. You don't kind of see everything. And I actually left the game thinking that a lot of spots that I worried about, D-line, front 7, would they wreak havoc all this? I mean, they were all over Miller Moss. And what would life without Jaden Daniels be like? It also looked pretty good to me. And you've got a wide receiver 1 in Lacey. You've got a kid in Anderson who's healthy and looks confident. You've got a kick returner, punt returner in Xavier Thomas. So all is not lost. I agree with Brian Kelly that, look, put your head down 1 week at a time. South Carolina doesn't look as formidable as they might have before the season, and you get an 11 o'clock game there. I think it's still lining up to where LSU can go into Ole Miss and that be a massive game. And then to make the playoffs, Matt? You feel like 10-2 gets you in? Well, then you need to win 2 of 3 versus that kind of OU, Bama, Ole Miss stretch. And I guess you can lump A&M in there as well. At the end of the season, I'm not sure how they'll look, but if I'm an LSU fan, I'm not overly worried right now. It's just one of those things. And I know Brian Kelly won't say it, but I will. It's not an excuse, no. Four plays, probably. The 2 forced fumbles, Matt, and then the 2 almost batted down passes, interceptions. One of those goes LSU's way, and things could have changed, and they didn't. And it's just kind of the break sometimes, and it kind of felt like USC got all 4 of them. And, hey, shout out to number 10, that whole catch of the year candidate kid. I think upon rewatch, that other catch was more clutch for me, the one that set him up for either a field goal or just to go ahead score. But he made that catch with one hand, left-handed, and then still held it through Jordan Gilbert targeting. So, sometimes you just have to say kudos to the team who got the breaks and made couple more plays than you did in a game that I think most people would say is pretty evenly matched teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Look, you were tied at 20 with 8 seconds left in the game. So it's what it is, man.
Matt, if you would you have taken this bet had I told you, or what would have been your reaction if I would have told you that this new LSU defense held a Lincoln Riley offense to no points in the first quarter, 10 points at halftime, and then a couple 3-and-outs and a field goal in the third quarter? And you would have said 13 points in 3 quarters. You got to be kidding me. I'll be all over that one. So,
it's one of the disappointing parts of the game for sure. It was a game that certainly was there to be had, but you don't come up with it. So, I mean, Shea, we've seen it now the last 2 years. They lose the opener, they get better, they'll get better, they'll win a lot of games. Just a matter of how far behind the 8 ball have you put yourself with this loss. But I guess that'll play out in time. He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Of course, we use this time to talk recruiting. Let's check in on some of the big name guys in this class. Bryce Underwood, his season is underway. Some notable changes in what they're letting him do up there in Michigan?
Yeah, last year they had a running back at Belleville who ultimately went to Michigan and played linebacker. He was a 4-star linebacker, but carried the ball, and he's since transferred out. But a D1 football player, so they were comfortable. Look, they had back-to-back state titles, and they went to the state title last year. So they were running the football with him. This year, they said, hey, look, we're going to run it with Bryce some. I mean, Bryce has got the best arm in the country, and he is a year younger. He turned 17 2 weeks ago, and he's a senior in high school, so he's a year younger than everybody else, still has the best arm. And we have him number 1, and we're still like, look, we haven't even seen his legs. He goes out in 2 games, and it's just been unbelievable. This past weekend, he went for 177 and 2, and that's with a 50-yard touchdown run called back. So his movement, I mean, if you go, we've got it, the Bengal Tiger, a lot of the clips, but Charles Power, our national director of scouting and rankings, has tweeted out a bunch, and you can find him on Twitter, Charles Power, but it's a lot like Jaden, where you look at him and it's like, he's just gliding. Is he even trying right now? Like, it's just the top end speed and burst make it look like everybody else is 3 steps slower. So it's pretty evident now you're not only getting the best arm in the country, you're getting a 6'4" kid who will play at 225 in college and be able to run at any point you need him to, which is what Jaden was for this team.
Certainly something that LSU missed on Saturday, a dynamic they don't have presently, but is certainly on the way. What about the cornerbacks? I mean, DJ Pickett is someone that you would love to see as part of this class stick. It certainly seems like he will, and the guy's going to have an opportunity to play early.
Yeah, look, and all 3 of their corners had – I was just talking to Charles Power before we went on with you, which made me think of this. He said he had watched most all the kids over the 3 games who had played so far, and Louisiana obviously hadn't started yet, and Texas just got going. But he said, man, LSU's class, top to bottom, every kid I watched looked pretty solid. And then he leads off his piece with Bryce Underwood maybe being the best performer of anyone out there, and then quickly said, hey, look, help's on the way at corner. He said DJ Pickett's playing both sides of the ball. He looked good. He said Cade Phillips looked unbelievable in week 1 for his game, and we're higher on him than anyone else. I think he ends up being a top 5 corner when it's all said and done. And we're in Jamboree season, but boy, the buzz out of Ruston and Aiden Anding after what he did this past weekend with some picks, some touchdowns, and pass breakups, you name it. Those three complement each other well. So bring those three in, and we've already seen, just some better play from guys like Stamps developing, and toss P.J. Woodland in there. Corey Raymond can develop. So if you've got this young group, couple them with these guys coming in, I think that you won't have to rely much longer on guys just being vets. So I think you're going to get back to you recruit at a high level and you develop at a high level. And I think that's what we're going to see from Stamps, Woodland, and then into this group.
Shea, what about this weekend being the first home game? Is this a weekend where you would expect it to be a pretty heavy recruiting weekend for the Tigers?
It's not typically, in large part because it's week one, right? Louisiana starts this week. So most of the kids are focused on high school football, and then a lot of your commits are border state kids that they could drive in as well, but they've already said, hey, look, I'm coming to these 3 or 4 games, and Nichols doesn't always make that list. So usually weekends like this are going to be more underclassmen. You'll see a number of kids come in that, will kind of show up to every other game, or, your local kids, your Catholic high and U high kids who come to every game. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of the bulk of it. But for Brian Kelly and them, I think they're fine with that. I think they just want to focus on football this weekend and get into 1-1. But they'll have quickly enough. That Ole Miss game ain't too far in the distance, and that's the same time they're celebrating 100 years of Tiger Stadium and bringing all these players back. I would expect that's going to be one of their biggest visit weekends of the year, which is fine for LSU, right? Lay low for a bit, get some wins, get your footing right, and then have a big game atmosphere against Ole Miss.
Shea, before you go, who are you keeping an eye on that could be next to pop in this recruiting class?
It's still Buddy Mathis coming out of Georgia, defensive tackle. They've got a trio of them committed, but that he's expected to be the fourth guy that Bo Davis gets. And he initially told us he was going to do it this past weekend at his mom's birthday, and then he didn't get his edit in time, and then he said, hey, look, I'll hold off and I'll do it next week. And I love linemen and I love D linemen because they're the anti, and not that there's anything wrong with it, right? That you and I do this for a living. We're on radio and social media and all that, but that's also the wide receivers and corners. They're out there with us too. The O-line and D-line could care less if anyone ever knew where they were committed to, or if they ever tweeted about it or did an interview. So his silence is just his personality. I still think that whenever he decides to go public, that LSU's sitting in a pretty good spot to add another defensive tackle.
He's just, come on, Hayes Fawcett, what you doing, man? What's he got? He's got like 10,000 of these to do, these edits to do, which is just put him a little bit of a backlog?
I would guess the answer to that's yes, absolutely.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, on Twitter at Shea Dixon. I always appreciate it, Shea. Thanks for the time, man.
All right, Matt. I'll talk to you next week.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. We always appreciate Shea for a couple of minutes. We're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore. I goofed, y'all. I drank my last bottle of Evermore that usually sits here on the set, and I was gone out of town, and then just plumb forgot to go pick up a new one when I came in today, just assuming I'd have it. So that's on me, but I'll have it back tomorrow. Drink Evermore, evermore.com, EVAMOR, available at great local retailers, or of course you can buy it online. A better source of hydration. Look, Dak Prescott's an endorser, Cloth and Nuss, the Olympic beach volleyball players, they're endorsers of Evermore as well. If it's good enough for Olympic athletes and the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, isn't it good enough for you and for your family? It's a better source of hydration, and it's a Louisiana product. You also drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. Buy it there or at great local retailers. Okay, well, now I got a quick break. Peter Burns is going to join us on Mondays during the season, as he has to start hour number 2, but we weren't here yesterday. Peter was good enough to flex with us and move to today. So we're not going to break. We'll come back. We'll chat with Peter Burns of the SEC Network, get his take on what happened around the conference there in week 1. We're glad you're aboard with us. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Y'all, interest rates tick down again. The Baton Rouge real estate market is starting to catch fire. So if you're thinking of selling your home, this is the time. You're starting to get more buyers into the pool of buyers because with interest rates coming down, their dollar goes further. They can afford more home. It's a great time to list your home for sale if you've been on the fence about it. So call Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. Agent225.com is the most user-friendly website in real estate. It's every home listed by every company all in one place. It is a one-stop shop. You can see literally every home on the MLS right there at agent225.com. Bookmark it. Make it the only website you use for real estate. Agent225.com, of course. Buying or selling, if you need a realtor, you need Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Glad to have you aboard with us here. We appreciate our friends over at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. By the way, they'll have that LSU Gator out on campus this weekend. The thing they're raffling off to raise money for 4-H and FFA. So check it out. Get your tickets right now at sunnyquip.com. SunEQUIP, sunnyquip.com. Peter Burns, SEC Network, will be with us Mondays again this football, courtesy of our friends over at Blue Delta Jeans, bluedeltajeans.com. But PB, good enough to be a little flexible with us and join us on Tuesday with the holiday weekend. How are you, dude?
I mean, I'm not an FSU fan. So I mean,
No doubt.
you gotta. Life is all about perspective here, right? I mean, that's what I told Misso earlier. I'm like, is this a conversation we had at the start of 2020 or 2021 or 2022 or 2023 or 2024? Like, I'm stuck in this like hamster wheel of holy hell. Why are we talking about an 0-1 LSU squad?
I don't think it's the same as 2020 and 2021. I think there was some hand waving there with COVID, and then Obviously, in 2021, you had the two new coordinators. The 2022 just wasn't, as we know, just wasn't a very good team at the start of the year and got better. And last year, I think Florida State was really good. Pete, this is the one that felt the most gettable, like the one you really should have won. From your seat, where do you lay the most blame for the loss?
It's funny because if you talk about the blame for it, it's an odd deal. Like even going back to the Florida State stuff over the last couple of years, like I still feel pretty good about this team. Like there's not, I mean, if you want to just talk about one play, it's the 3rd and 1 where you went hurry up, right? Like that to me still, I mean, you know, I watch every single game with my dad, and I mean, we're throwing remote controls. Like, what in the world? Like, just line up. I mean, give me the old Les Miles power toss or I formation. It doesn't matter. Just line up and prove that you're LSU football and they're USC. And I understand why you go fast there to a certain extent, but it doesn't work. But the problem is I don't know who there is to blame. The defense looked better. Nussmeier didn't fall off as much as I thought there would be a fall off in the offense. He looked good. The fact that you didn't get the ball to Kyron Lacey a little bit in the second half, I mean, I pointed that out right after the game going, man, you're 7 catches for 94 and you only got 2 targets in the second half. Well, Brian Kelly talked about that and said he talked to Joe Sloan. So I don't know. And I think that's probably the most frustrating part of it is the fact I don't have anybody to like, this is the culprit right here, other than the fact that USC got better, and I want to puke in my mouth when I say that.
I mean, there was just a lot of blame to go around. There was head-scratching coaching decisions. There was poor plays in the moment, and a little bit of bad luck mixed in as well with some of the almost turnovers. But here they stand. Pete, one more on LSU. Like over the next month, we're all anticipating they're going to be 4-1 going into their open date before Ole Miss comes here. From what you've seen, does your opinion on this LSU team, specifically how they may match up against Ole Miss in a month, does your opinion change after one game?
No. I mean, again, if you would have told me, I mean, we're talking about a play, right? I mean, if we're talking about if they win that game, I'm just as high on them. It's not as, I mean, we're not Florida football right now, right? Going, holy hell, what just happened? We got crushed by Miami, and there's no telling what goes into a spiral. So I don't feel that way. I mean, I felt a little bit that way maybe even in last year, but I realized FSU ended up being really good. So it doesn't change my mind. I mean, the whole college football playoff, I felt like had you won that game, the Ole Miss game would have been a de facto playoff game. Because if you win and you have already beaten USC, I don't see 2 other losses on the schedule the rest of the way. I just didn't. And so now you have to win this Ole Miss game. And I still like them against Ole Miss. At home, Ole Miss will be playing 7 weeks in a row. And you got to see how it develops the next week or two. But I still feel pretty good. And I don't know if that's rational behavior or I'm just seeing it through purple and gold with the lenses.
Peter Burns with us at Peter Burns ESPN on Twitter if you want to give him a follow. Pete, as we look at the opening weekend outside of LSU, I mean, the glut of points were disgusting. I mean, Missouri scored 51, Arkansas scored 70, Oklahoma scored 51, Texas 52, Bama 63, Ole Miss 76, Tennessee scored 69. It was gross. It was just a gross weekend, and that's Mississippi State. Auburn scored 73. It's like it's an embarrassment, the type of games that are played the opening weekend. So give me something aside from all the gross games that nobody actually cared to see that are an embarrassment to be on schedules. That is the biggest takeaway. You mentioned Florida. Is that it?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I think we could have seen something with Florida kind of falling apart. So I don't think that that's necessarily new to me. And you don't really, you're right, it's incomplete because you basically had glorified scrimmages. In fact, the scrimmages would have been more competitive than a lot of the games that we saw last Saturday. However, I was in Knoxville for our new show, that SEC Now live show. And so I got an opportunity to spend a lot of time there, talk to coaches, did the Vol walk with Nico Iamaleava. That kid, dude, is, I'm telling you, he's an absolute stud. I mean, he's going to, I think he's going to win a Heisman out there in Knoxville. I don't necessarily think it's this year. I think it's one more year, but in that offense, he is just cool, calm, collected. There is this like Joe Burrow-esque type demeanor around him. I'm telling you, listen, I don't ever want to give that to anybody else. I'm telling you. Just so you know, mark it down right now. Why are you pissed off about that?
I'm not pissed off. I'm just saying, hey,
that?
like, I don't do hyperbole, Pete. I mean, you're talking about a Heisman. You're saying Joe Burrow after they scored 69 against Chattanooga. I mean, forgive me. I watched KJ Costello throw for 600 yards against LSU and was benched a month later. I'm not saying Nico is KJ. I'm also not ready to say he's going to be Joe Burrow.
No, nobody's going to Joe Burrow. But what I'm telling you is that there's a demeanor about him that reminds me of that. Listen, okay. Joe Burrow, like how we used to have, it should have been called like the Nick Saban Coach of the Year award for a couple of years because he was so far above everybody else. The Joe Burrow coolness will always be at the absolute Mount Everest top of the tip. And then everybody, you're going to be like, all right, who do you remind you of that way, right? Like Nico, the way that he just, his style, the way that he kind of handles himself, that he's not too big, but he kind of has this, like, he'll say stuff that doesn't come across as being cocky, just more confident and okay with himself. I'm telling you, I saw how it developed for Joe in 2018 to 2019, and it always seems like it's developing that way up there.
Peter, I think...
By the way, real quick,
please, absolutely.
I don't hate Notre Dame anymore under Marcus Freeman, and I don't feel comfortable living in a world in which I don't hate Notre Dame. Like I didn't sign up for this life.
I was actually going to ask you about A&M and Notre Dame next, so that's a good segue.
Am I wrong?
No. Well, like, look,
I mean, they got a little swagger. He's cool as hell. They went in there. They didn't look like they were just playing like, they were like methodical and running through molasses. Like, they had a little swagger to them. I was like, who the hell is this, and why don't I hate them?
They are very good defensively. There's no question. I think the jury's still out on what they can be offensively with Riley Leonard, but we'll see. I'm less interested in Notre Dame. And by the way, their schedule is laughable the rest of the way. They're going to be in the playoff. My question is about Texas A&M because I watched Connor Wegman get put in a chokehold for 3 hours where he threw for 100 yards after most people spent the offseason telling me he was going to be a first-round draft pick. A&M's defense good. We know Mike Elko's a good defensive coach. That's not surprising. What do we make of A&M after this season opening loss?
Moscona, remember how many years we told through the Sahara Desert of having great LSU defense, great playmakers, a great home field advantage, unbelievable tailgating.
Yes.
And then we looked at the quarterback play and we puked on ourselves.
Yes.
That's A&M. Like, it's literally the Spider-Man meme of like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, is that Anthony Jennings? Is that Jared Lee after not being ready? I mean,
please tell me Connor Wegman is Anthony Jennings.
Oh, where was the lie? And the fact that you got so excited, you did everything to win. All you had to do was have any type of quarterback play, and you got zero of it. I'm like, I called my Aggie fans and buddies, and I was like, hey, bro, if you need support, go look at there was like a 4-year run under Les Miles. And buddy, that was our life. So we've been down this road. Like, let's have a support system together.
4-year? A 4-year run?
I mean, I'm trying to be nice.
Pete, I mean, that started in 2009 and ran all the way until he was done in 2016. I mean, that's 7 years at least right there. And we could even go back to I mean, like Jamarcus ended up being a number 1 pick, but they scored 6 points on the road against Auburn in 2006 with that offense, with 2 first-round picks at receiver.
God, it was that long. It's like whenever you're like in a really bad relationship, you're like, why did I put up with this for that long? I'm telling you, I tweeted this on Sunday night, and I don't know if it's the food, it's the alcohol, but I guarantee you, being an LSU football fan, and I'd even say even maybe baseball fan as well too, just how LSU sports, our life expectancy is at least 4 to 5 years less than the average life expectancy for a normal human being. Like, sometimes I wish I was an Iowa football fan to where I would just have this malaise in my life where I'm like, whatever, fine.
Never too high, never too low. Just kind of going 8-4, 9-3, some good days, some bad days. Yeah. But you don't experience the lows, Pete. You never experience the highs. So I'm here for it all. Peter Burns, SEC Network. He's on Twitter at Peter Burns, ESPN, BlueDeltaJeans.com. Go get you some Blue Delta jeans. Pete rocks those Blue Delta jeans. They're beautiful, too. BlueDeltaJeans.com. We appreciate it. Looking forward to Mondays. Tell Tiger Joe we said hello, and I hope he does good at karate.
We're going to just crush him taekwondo. Tiger Joe's, he is locked in right now. I'm trying to beat the hell out of his sister downstairs, so I better go. See you, buddy.
Later, dude. That's Peter Burns. It's After Further Review. Don't you move. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with a giant clock on the side. Got issues with your AC? You need River City's 1 Hour Air. 95 degrees in Baton Rouge at this very moment, 3:45 p.m. Central Time. 95 degrees. Heat index, you know, is higher than that. If your AC's not keeping up, if you run into issues with your HVAC unit, do what I do what people all over Baton Rouge have done for 4 decades. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001. They take great pride in continuing education for all of their technicians. So you're going to get the latest technology, the highest quality results, service. It's all there at River City's 1 Hour Air. And, of course, if they're 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
After 1 week, there's a new Heisman frontrunner. This should come as no surprise to anybody that watched college football in week 1. But Cam Ward, the Miami quarterback, who was sensational in that curb stomping of the Gators down in the Swamp. Cam Ward is now the betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy at 7-1. Let's see, Dylan Gabriel, who had been the favorite, drops to 15-2, followed by Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart. Travis Hunter was one of the big risers. He went from 33-1 to 11-1. And I'll tell you, candidly, I took the Travis Hunter bait last year. If you remember the season opener for Colorado a year ago against TCU, Travis Hunter had the great game. I think maybe had an interception, receiving touchdown, and he saw his Heisman. Like, he went from unlisted to having odds. And I made not a huge bet, made a bet on it, just betting on the come a little bit there. And we know how the Colorado season played out. But Hunter with a very similar start to the season, just very hard for someone at that position to win the award, even to get to New York City. But Carson Beck, Nico Iamaleava, Quinn Ewers, Garrett Nussmeier. Interestingly, Nuss was 33-1. After the loss, he's up to 18-1. So I think most notably, and by the way, like LSU's championship odds, their playoff odds were essentially unaffected after the loss. So I know today, and listen, I understand it, man. I've been doing this long enough. Damn it. I've been doing post-game shows, and I've been doing this show for so many years now. I just know how it is after a loss. Everybody wants to scream and throw things and say the season's over and burn it down and Brian Kelly hot seat, and I get it. And listen, I was as frustrated as anybody watching the game on Saturday and the loss. And I mean, if you watch Whiskey and Wine, you saw that with me and T-Bob. It's not fun, and it sucks to lose, and I get all that. But sometimes you take a deep breath, you step back, and you realize perspective. And this is what's happened the last 2 years. They lost the opener, and Brian Kelly's a good coach, and LSU has good players, and they're going to go win games, and they're going to have high points in the season, and they're going to lose again before the season's over. And that's just how this is going to manifest. And so you play out the next 11 games and see where you stand after you play Oklahoma Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll see what all that means. But the odds makers effectively didn't move LSU's odds after losing that game. So, long way to go. See how they get better. But clearly the odds makers also looked at Nussmeier and said, yeah, dude threw for 300 yards. I mean, you had some red zone possessions where you came up empty. You had one red possession where you came up with no points after the first possession of the game. In the fourth quarter, you got down inside the 15. You ended up kicking a chip shot field goal. So could have been even more, wasn't. But I mean, look at the first possession of the game. You were literally a toe tap from Kyron Lacey away from Kyron Lacey having 2 first-half touchdown receptions. So I get it, man. It's nobody wants to hear the good things today. I understand that. But there are good things to build upon in a long season, and it is still a long season. So we'll talk about plenty of it. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Because we had PB, we had to shuffle things a bit. So let's do it right now. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Sam Pittman has explained Eli Stein's absence from the Arkansas roster. Previously, Pittman deflected questions about Stein, but the long snapper no longer with the team. Pittman would not disclose why, just said, quote, that's between Eli and myself. Stein had been the primary long snapper the last 2 seasons and started 11 games in 2022 as a freshman before a finger injury scrapped his final 2 games, started 12 games a year ago.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Stoops has made a final call on running back Chip Trayanum against South Carolina. Of course, Kentucky opened SEC play against Carolina on Saturday when they play in Lexington. Chip Trayanum, dealing with a broken hand, will not play in the game. It'll be his second absence. Obviously didn't play in the opener against Southern Miss. It was Demi Sumo who led Kentucky with 59 yards and a score on 8 carries.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Branson Hickman has been given an injury update by Brent Venables. He's an offensive lineman. Looked good in practice, according to Brent Venables. That was in practice on Monday. Left Saturday's season opener in the first quarter against Temple with an injury. Walked off the field. Went to the locker room. However, Venables said he's not sure if Hickman will be available for Week 2 matchup against Houston.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
And how about this? Quarterback Jackson Dart has signed a 6-figure NIL deal with C Spire. He's got that now in his portfolio. It's a Mississippi-based internet company. Work with Dart to improve lives through technology, as they say. It'll be on social media ads and other things. Deal's estimated to be worth over $100,000, according to an On3 report. Dart has an estimated On3 valuation of $1.3 million. All All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor. If you got mold issues or think you might, call Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, BUILT. Hit the restoration tab. All under one umbrella right there. So you go to parishbuilt.com, hit the restoration tab. You know, they do tons of work, actually, in the New Orleans area, which is effectively like the world capital of mold. I mean, you just think of how wet it is, and then coupled with humidity issues that we have here in our state, yeah, that's a breeding ground for mold. If you got mold issues, think you might, call Parish Restoration. They'll come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It'll dwell, kill all the mold, sporing pathogens, and as soon as the fog dissipates, boom, you're back in free and clear, not cutting sheetrock, pulling up carpet. Easy and effective and cost-effective as well. Parish Restoration. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We got a ton of LSU stuff to get to today. When we come back after the top of the hour, the Saints worked out a former first-round draft pick receiver that I want to talk about. And Brian Kelly met with reporters for his usual weekly press conference. And one of the things that he addressed that I want to get to here in about 20 minutes is maybe the conservative play call in the second half and not getting Kyron Lacey involved. We'll dive deep into that in about 20 minutes. Don't you move. SportsCenter's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. Went to Vegas. So easy. I didn't have to worry about packing contact solution. Didn't have to worry about packing my contact lens cases. Didn't have to worry about packing my glasses for when I take my contact lens out so I could see at night when I take my contacts out. Didn't have to worry about any of that. Just woke up in the morning and I could see. Got on a plane and I could see. Didn't have to pack any of the stuff. That entire drawer, and if you wear contacts, you know this because you have the drawer in your bathroom as well, like I did. That drawer with all of your contact stuff, the big contact solution case, the travel size solution, the travel case for your contact lens. I took all of the extra pair of contact lens for if you tear one and need to change them. I took all that stuff and dumped it in the trash 6 years ago, and I haven't needed it since. You want to see without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. Call 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best-kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. With less than a week to go before their regular season opener, the 49ers and star left tackle Trent Williams agreed on a restructured 3-year deal, $82 million. It includes $48 million at signing and a $25 million signing bonus. So his holdout officially is over, and he's in position to play against the Jets on Monday Night Football. ESPN NFL analyst Jeff Saturday.
For Trent Williams, it's a plug and play. I mean, I'll just be real with you. Like Walt Jones, these guys used to, they'd miss camp and hold up and then show up and be ready to rock and roll. Trent Williams is the exact same. He's the most dominant offensive lineman in the game at 36. So I have no issue with him being able to play.
Jeff Saturday on Carlin versus Joe. Niners running back Christian McCaffrey returned to practice today, missed most of camp with a strained calf. Jets defensive end Hassan Reddick remains a holdout as the team preps for Week 1. Coach Robert Saleh, again, not ruling Reddick out for the season opener if he shows up this week. Giants coach Brian Daboll confirming that he will handle play calling duties this season.
Here's one stat that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. With Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. About 15 minutes from right now, I want to talk a little bit about what Brian Kelly said meeting with reporters on Tuesday. Really, the crux of the conversation is conservative play call, which was a big talking point among a lot of LSU fans flying home from Vegas on Monday. So I took some time last evening, went back through the game, looked situationally at what they did, how I thought they did. And I'll work through some of my opinions because I don't think it's as black and white or cut and dried as saying they got too conservative in the second half. I guess the point being, it's not all bad. We're going to get to that. It wasn't great. Don't misunderstand me. But it wasn't all bad. I'll explain coming up here in less than 15 minutes from right now. It is game week for the New Orleans Saints, y'all. The Saints are on the field on Sunday, noon Central, against the Carolina Panthers division game. Saints are a 4.5-point favorite, and they're still looking to adjust the roster as they inch closer to kickoff of the opener. In fact, they worked out a former first-round pick at receiver. I'll tell you who in 30 seconds, but here was Dennis Allen talking about being game week in his third season as the Saints head coach.
All right, game week. So excited to be here working. Thought we had good practice today, and we're excited about the opportunity to start off with a division opponent. Look, they got a lot of new faces from a personnel standpoint. Got some new faces in terms of coaching staff standpoint. There'll be a lot of adjusting that'll need to be done as the game moves along, but we're certainly excited about having an opportunity to start out, open up division opponent in our building, and I think our guys will be ready to play.
Maybe the most curious part about this, though, is that it is game week. Now that we sit here as we're talking live on Tuesday, you're 5 days away from your opener. And the Saints are working out receivers. I mean, we talked for the last month about that position group. And listen, you could take my opinion, you could have your opinion. I think most of us agree the first two are really good, right? Chris Olave is a 1,000-yard receiver. I think Rashid Shaheed has every bit that potential. After that, it's fall off a cliff bad. Your number 3 last year was Michael Thomas. He's gone. So now are you looking at A.T. Perry? Are you looking at Cedric Wilson? Are you looking at Bub Means? I don't know who that's going to be. Pro Football Focus, for whatever it's worth, ranks the New Orleans Saints wide receiver group 24th in the NFL, 24th out of 32. So right there in the bottom quarter of the teams in the NFL. Only the Jags, Steelers, Bills, Giants, Panthers, Broncos, Chargers, Patriots, they rank worse than the Saints. So whether you're looking at a subjective point of view like mine or yours or an objective metric like Pro Football Focus that many people agree with, this isn't a very talented receiver room. I think you're top heavy with your first two guys, but after that is where you have a really big question. Now, can they maybe manipulate that some by using Alvin Kamara and using Juwan Johnson, using Taysom Hill? Absolutely. So creativity with the offense matters, but if you're just talking about the receiver position, it is a giant question. And the Saints worked out a handful of receivers on Monday, and among that group is former first-round pick John Ross. Now, if you remember John Ross, he came into the NFL back in 2017, the same year as Alvin Kamara, out of the University of Washington. And the thing about John Ross that popped, that vaulted him all the way up into the draft, into the first round, was when he went to the combine, he ran a 4.22 40, which was an NFL record at the time at the combine when he ran 4.22. Because of that time, he was vaulted all the way into the top 10, and Cincinnati took him 9th overall back in the 2017 draft. And it wasn't great for John Ross in Cincinnati. Part of it was injury. Part of it was that it just didn't translate. He had great speed, no doubt, but the consistency was never really there. After, a handful of sort of injury-plagued seasons in Cincinnati, he went and spent the 2021 season with the Giants and then the last 2 seasons with the Chiefs and the Eagles on their practice squads. So when you look at it, John Ross hasn't played an NFL game the last 2 seasons. In 2022 and 2023, he didn't play in an NFL game. The last time he took the field in an NFL game on a Sunday was in 2021 with the Giants. So it's been a hot minute for John Ross. But this reminds me a lot of when the Saints signed Kevin White back in 2021. You remember Kevin White? Very similar. Kevin White was a speedster, big-time playmaker, wide receiver out of West Virginia. The Bears took him 7th overall, had injury issues from jump in Chicago, and it just never materialized. The Saints back in 2021, when they had some issues at receiver, you remember Michael Thomas obviously was going through his ankle thing, and then Deontay Harris, later Deontay Hardy, was going to be suspended, which ultimately he was. So the Saints knew that they were going to be short a couple of their big-time playmakers at receiver, and so they were looking for options, and they looked at Kevin White and said, that's a guy that had the physical ability to be a top 10 pick, a first-round pick, the number 7 pick in the draft. What if we can squeeze something, some juice out of the orange? So they brought him in, and Kevin White played games for the Saints. And I look at John Ross in a very similar manner, and the Saints have gone down this road. It's always the question whenever you're looking at a free agent. Do you want to look at a veteran player who is near the end of his career but has skins on the wall, who has been a Sunday player in his career, and you just don't know what's left? Or do you want to maybe lean on younger guys and sort of betting on the come to see if you can get some upside, which the ceiling might not be very high, but you're further from the floor, I guess, if that makes sense. So you look at John Ross, and he's a guy who his best season was his second year in Cincinnati, he played 13 games that year. The next year, 2019 in Cincinnati, He caught 28 balls for 506 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaged over 18 yards a reception. So, yes, that was 2019. I mean, that's 5 years ago. I don't know that he's anywhere even remotely close to that, having not even played the last 2 seasons. But can John Ross, at this point in his career, at 29 years old, find something that made him a first-round draft pick? Kind of like we talked about with Michael Thomas a year ago. You aren't asking Michael Thomas to come in and be the Michael Thomas that caught 160 passes and was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. You were asking Michael Thomas to come in and be your number 3. And had he stayed healthy, he could have been able to do that. So I look at John Ross and I go, I don't need you to come in and get 50 targets on the season. I need you to come in and be a guy that can add a dimension to the offense that may not be there. Now, I think you have the speed element, obviously, with Rashid Shaheed, but is it a guy that maybe could fill that role of depth? Like maybe he's a practice squad guy that if you need a receiver, you could sign him to the active roster, activate him on game day, kind of an up-down guy. But sans other better options, I kind of get it. I mean, it's a similar feeling, and I like this path, and I'm not saying it's the correct methodology, but I like it. It's one of the reasons I've kind of lobbied this offseason for the Saints to sign David Bakhtiari. I'm not telling you David Bakhtiari is all-pro David Bakhtiari anymore, but that is a guy who has been an all-pro in his career, and it only got derailed due to injuries last year in Green Bay, sat out last season. Like, could you get anything? Could you get a bottom-tier starter out of David Bakhtiari today? Well, that's better than a guy that's a borderline make the roster, miss the roster type guy. So I kind of look at John Ross similarly, a guy whose best days are behind him, but who has been a guy that's played. I mean, John Ross has played in 37 games with 21 starts, and he scored 11 career touchdowns. Like, can he be your 4th or 5th guy who can give you some reps? Maybe. So I don't hate that idea if they choose to go that direction. Ross wasn't the only receiver they worked out, however. Philip Dorsett, Ja'Cour Pearson, Amir Smith-Marset, and David Wallace were all working out on Monday as well for the New Orleans Saints. No word as of right now if the Saints have or will sign any of these guys to a contract, active roster, or practice squad. We'll see how that goes. But sometimes the way that this works in the NFL, I mean, you probably know this, is you work out guys, you bring them in to keep an updated scouting report in the event that you need somebody. So you have an updated scouting report now on a handful of receivers. So if you get through week 1 and go, man, there was an injury or we need help, I need depth there, you have a scouting report on 5 guys that you could say, okay, let's sign that guy. So it's always going to be interesting. It's going to grab headlines when you bring in a former first round or former top 10 pick like John Ross, guy who hasn't played football in 2 years, but if there's a positive spin to it, and he's healthy. He hasn't had 2 years of wear and tear on his body. But well-known name was at the Saints facility on Monday working out. We'll see what the Saints elect to do with these roster spots. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're here. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Your first option should be to First South Farm Credit. First South Farm Credit has been first in agriculture for more than 100 years. Farmers know about First South Farm Credit. But what if you're looking to buy that recreational property, that hunting property? Maybe you want to buy those 20 acres in St. Francisville, those 20 acres in Covington, those 20 acres there, again, on the North Shore in Tangipahoa. If you work in New Orleans, but you're driving across the causeway, maybe you have a family now and you're looking to build that home sort of outside of the city life. First South Farm Credit can help. Go to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Alvin Kamara did talk about his contract situation. We'll get to that a bit later as well. And let's see. We're supposed to have check. Okay, good. Perfect. We will have Sean Salisbury with us to start hour 3. I just got confirmation on that. Excited to have Sean back with us on Tuesdays. We'll get his take on the LSU USC game, and I'll ask him some thoughts on Saints Panthers in week 1 in the NFL. That's coming up in about 45 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, so LSU obviously stalled out offensively. They moved the ball, but only put up 20 points. So who's to blame? Brian Kelly answered that on Tuesday when he met with reporters, and I have some thoughts as well. We'll delve into it next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Y'all, now is the time. If you're thinking of building a pool at your home, now is the time to call Duplessis Builders. Just work with me here on the timeline. I've told you before that Derek Duplessis, they don't cut corners. He's got an engineering background. For example, takes 21 days for concrete to cure. So when they spray gunite, they're not rushing the process. They are going to wait 21 days for it to cure until they move on to the tiling and the coping. That's what allows the pool to extend its life and to maintain that beautiful quality. So that's going to take it's a 2-month process building the pool. Prior to that, there's permitting. There's a lot of things that go into it that could take another 4, 6, 8 weeks. So the point is, if you want to be swimming by spring, call now. Call now so they can get you on the books, start that process of permitting, designing, get to the build. Then your landscape and everything is done for when the weather gets nice. You want a pool? Now is the time to start. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Hey, y'all heading out to Tiger Stadium this weekend. Make sure you get on by the PMAX. See our friends from Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. They'll have that John Deere Gator that they're raffling off, the LSU John Deere Gator. They're raffling off. They're giving it away, and out to the winner the weekend of the Vanderbilt game, but it'll be out there. You can put eyes on it. It's a thing that Condon and I rode around downtown Baton Rouge in a few months back. You can check it out and get your tickets. Remember, all the ticket sales, the proceeds are benefiting 4-H and FFA. You can get your tickets at sunnyquip.com, SUNEQUIP, sunnyquip.com. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Been great partners of ours, and we're thrilled to have them here. Okay, it's after further review. With LSU's loss on Sunday to USC, so much of the conversation has centered around what happened offensively with the Tigers. And I understand it. You put up 20 points. Most of us looked at this game and thought the offense would go, and that if the defense could just be good enough, you'd win the game. Well, the defense was plenty good enough. I mean, you held Lincoln Riley's offense to 10 points in the first half, and they were sitting on 20 points with until 8 seconds to play in the ballgame. The defense, while it gave up plenty of yards, I think did exactly what they were trying to do. They played cover 2. They said, we're going to give you the 8-yard reception. We're not giving you the 80-yard reception. We're going to tackle, and they did by and large. They were good against the run, good enough. I know Miller Moss threw for 378, but that total is inconsequential. The defense made plays. Savion Jones came up with a couple of sacks. We saw you were really good against the run. You forced a couple of fumbles. You batted some balls into the air that just didn't fall your way. The defense, I'll put it to you this way, you'd probably agree with this. The defense we saw on Sunday night, if LSU a season ago had that caliber of defense, that's a college football playoff team. You're at least beating Ole Miss. And I don't know, maybe Florida State, maybe Alabama. Who knows how it may go. So naturally, a lot of the questions were going to be about the offense and what happened and did they get too conservative. It was the question Brian Kelly got out of the chute. Did they get too conservative on offense in the second half? Here's what he said.
We could look at, everything that we did when you don't win a football game and say, maybe we could have pushed the ball down the field. I think I made it clear that, Kyron Lacy is arguably our best offensive player and he didn't get a touch. So, I think that that's clearly something that, Joe and I talked about, and he understands that. He's a smart guy. We need to get our best players the ball when it means the most. And so, we've got to be better there in making sure that our players get the ball. And if that means pushing it down the field, we got to push it down the field too.
Here's a point about Kyron Lacy. Kyron Lacy had 4 catches on the opening possession of the ball game. He had 7 in the first half. He didn't have a catch in the second half and only had 2 targets. Now, the final offensive play that LSU had, they targeted Kyron Lacy. It was incomplete. And they ultimately kicked the field goal that tied the game at 20, and we know LSU would lose at that point. But it's hard for me to say that LSU offensively just got too conservative because I don't believe that's the case. Hear me out. I'm not saying it was perfect, but you have to go through situations in the game to either confirm or disconfirm whatever your opinion is based on the context of the situation. Here's what I mean. LSU had 10 players catch a ball. 10. They did an incredible job of spreading it around and using the weapons at their disposal. You think LSU got too conservative and too run happy? LSU threw the ball 38 times. They ran it 26. They threw the ball 12 more times than they ran it. In the first half, they threw it 24 times. They ran it 13. In the second half, they threw it 14, ran it 13. They were almost a 50-50 split. And you can say, well, look, they didn't throw it as much. Well, they didn't have as many plays. I thought the run-pass balance was really good. Let me give you an example. The drive that LSU had in the fourth quarter that tied the game, okay? Remember, SC scores to go up 20-17. LSU gets the ball down 3. You got to go tie or take the lead. You get the ball with 3:57 to play. You get the ball, with 5:44 to play in the ball game. You start with a false start on Will Campbell, and then they give it right back with the offsides penalty. So it's 1st and 10. Nussmeier, short pass to Aaron Anderson for 3 yards, so they throw. Come back with a 3-yard run by Josh Williams. They come back with the 41-yard catch and run by Aaron Anderson, so they go pass, run, pass. Boom, you're right down the field. They come back with a run by John Emery for no gain. They throw it to Xavion Thomas for 12 yards, get you the first down. John Emery runs it for 2 yards. So again, they've alternated. They've alternated run, pass every play. They've gone run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. Then Nussmeier throws that ball to Aaron Anderson, which was the one bad ball of the day. It was literally the only bad ball of the day by Garrett Nussmeier. And they had the play set up perfectly to where if he makes the throw, Aaron Anderson walks in the end zone. And now you've got the lead with 2 minutes to play in the ballgame. That incompletion came at the 2-minute timeout. The next play, they targeted Kyron Lacey on 3rd and 8. It was incomplete. They kicked the field goal to tie it. My point is, that was a beautiful drive. With 5 minutes to go, you had a perfect run-pass balance. You kept USC off balance. You went right down the field, and you had a touchdown, a go-ahead touchdown play called, scheme perfect. You didn't execute. I'm not saying the loss is on Nussmeier. Do not misunderstand me. That is not the point of this. Garrett Nussmeier thought was fantastic. He protected the football. He managed the offense. He took what the defense gave him. He threw for 300 yards. He was very good. He missed one throw. It was a big throw. It was a big play in the game. But my point is, if you're just saying they got too conservative, right there, that was a brilliant drive called by Joe Sloan. Go back with me. Go back to when LSU takes the lead on Aaron Anderson's catch and run, right? You score to take a 17-13 lead, and then you hold USC 3 and out. You're up 17-13, boom, you force a 3 and out. LSU gets the ball. John Emery, 6-yard run, you're pounding him now. Nussmeier passed to John Emery for 10 yards. Again, run, pass, boom, end of the third quarter. 1st and 10. John Emery run for 4 yards. 2nd and 6. I loved this play call. 2nd and 6. You've been pounding him with John Emery. Who comes onto the field for the first time? Tryout Green. And they found a way to scheme an ISO play for Tryout Green, where it's one-on-one, Tryout Green down the field with an undersized defensive back. And SC called a great defensive play where they brought pressure. Nussmeier had to backpedal and just fire it downfield. Give him another second, and he's throwing a jump ball to Tryout Green, and I like my odds with that play. Again, that's a creative play call in the moment. That's not getting conservative on 2nd and 6. They're taking a shot there. Didn't work out. So it's 3rd and 6. Throw the short pass to Josh Williams where he was short of the sticks, and ultimately you had to punt. You hold them on downs. Again, so you had 2 possessions with the lead in the fourth quarter to try to build your lead. Put the game away. The pass to Tryout Green wasn't a conservative play call in that moment. You hold them on downs. Major Burns has the penalty, as we've talked about at this point. So instead of 1st and 10 at your 36, it's 1st and 10 at your 31. John Emery gets popped for a 5-yard loss. Nussmeier, beautiful ball to Kamori and Pimpton for 14 yards. It's 3rd and 1. And this is the play that most LSU fans have talked about, because what I've heard is, well, you got behind that offensive line, you got to be able to get a yard. This great offensive line, you got to get a yard. Go back and watch the play. You had John Emery in the game, who had been your fresh legs back. I mean, just look at what had happened in the second half with John Emery. He was your guy. And they hand the ball off. They're going to run to the left side behind Dellinger and Will Campbell. And they had room. John Emery's getting a yard. Did you see where the tackle came from? You had Kamori and Pimpton who caught the ball in the previous play. Remember, you caught the ball in the previous play with Kamori and Pimpton. So now they're looking, going, we got to guard the freak show tight end. But he stayed in the block, lined up on the right side of the line, and he just whiffed. The defensive end came inside of him, crashed down, and crushed John Emery for a loss. Wasn't on the offensive line. You had the sophomore tight end in there who missed the block. I'm not putting the loss on Kamori and Pimpton in any way. But on that play, the play call was good. The hole was there. You had the right running back in. You had a young tight end who's not used to blocking who missed the block. And now you're off the field. 3 and out. I mean, if Kamori and Pimpton holds him up a split second longer, You get the first down. You milk at least 2 more minutes off the clock. Maybe you go punctuate the game with a game-winning drive. There, I know this sounds like ifs and buts and all that stuff. In part it is, but you have to look at all this in context. Yes, there's things that the coaching staff should have done better. I am incensed and continue to be incensed at Brian Kelly's insistence on taking the football when you win the toss. It is a mathematically stupid decision. You want the ball at the end of the first half, start of the second half to go back-to-back. USC almost did it. Kid missed a 29-yard field goal. You want the extra possession in the second half by getting the ball first in the second half. That's coaching. You had to delay a game coming out of a change of possession. I crushed Ed Ogeron for that. When they'd have to burn a timeout coming out of a change of possession. Happened on Saturday. Inexcusable. That's coaching. You had 2 personal foul penalties against veteran players. You could say that's discipline, that's coaching. I think that's shared blame. Veteran players have to know better. They have to know better in that moment. And then you had plenty of penalties that were just physical mistakes. You had PI on Sage Ryan, PI on PJ Woodland. They were beat. They committed PI. It's what it was. Point is, man, there was plenty of blame to go around. It was hardly a flawless game, and in spite of that, you were still right there. But all that to say, when you look at the sequence of how the game played out, I don't think it was a poorly called game. Could they and should they have forced the ball to Kyron Lacey in the second half? Yes. And in the biggest play of the game, they tried to get it to him. And it was incomplete. But even with all that, you could look at Kamorian Pimpton holding up a block for a second. John Emery gets that first down. Garrett Nussmeier, an accurate throw to Aaron Anderson. You scored the go-ahead touchdown. Just one of those days where a lot of little things that you needed to go your way didn't. And in a close ball game, the little things get magnified because those little things can be the difference in a win or a loss when you're playing a one-score game down in a tie ball game down to 8 seconds to go, which is how I thought the game was going to go. We talked about it all week. Thought this was a one-possession game. I just thought LSU would be able to lean on USC late and go win the game, either ice it or kick the late field goal. It inverted. LSU didn't make the plays late. SC scored touchdowns on their last 2 drives to take the lead. Then after LSU tied it, to take the lead again. And you tip your hat. They went and made the plays where you didn't late in the ballgame. And there's plenty of blame to go around for being in that situation on coaching, for not overcoming that situation with coaching and play calling and execution. Just a team that in a close game needed a few more little things to go their way and didn't. So you hope over the next month you improve on it. And we'll see if they can. Because if you can and you get to that game in October against Ole Miss and you manage to win it, then you're playing for tremendous stakes in the second half of the season. But you got to get there. I know it doesn't feel like it today, and it sucks talking about a loss for the 5th consecutive year in an opener. But there's a lot of good built into that team right now. They just got to keep improving. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gents, we're into the fall. I know a lot of you young buckaroos might be thinking about popping the question around the holiday season, around Christmas time. If you're thinking, you need to think Lee Michaels. For 4 decades now, Lee Michaels has helped all of Louisiana get engaged. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hey, if you want a beautiful diamond, you get it at Lee Michaels. If they don't have what you want, they can make it or they can find it. With 9 locations, they got a better selection and better pricing than you'll find at boutique stores, and you're not going to get the cookie-cutter experience of a big box store. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, and online at lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, y'all, it's After Further Review. Sean Salisbury in 30 minutes. Looking forward to talking to Sean, former SC quarterback. No doubt he'll have some thoughts on the Tigers and the Trojans from Sunday night. We'll get his thoughts on Week 1 in the NFL also. Speaking of Week 1 in the NFL, Alvin Kamara is going to play on the final year. Well, technically the final year. Excuse me. Technically, he's got 2 years on his deal, but for all intents and purposes, it's the final year of his deal. Kamara talked a little contract with reporters on Monday after practice. We'll let you hear what he said, and I'll react to it next. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
I want to remind you again about Action Industries. Had a convo last week with my buddy Chuck over at Action Industries, and you all know it's turnaround season now, and Action Industries has 2 turnarounds, and they are hiring. They need people. So listen up. They need welders, pipe fitters, Boilermakers, crane operators. It's about 100 to 125 people. It's 2 turnarounds they're trying to man. They're month-long turnarounds, 4 to 5 weeks. 7/12s. You can apply online or in person. The website will give it to you. It's actionindinc.com. Action Industries Incorporated. Actionindinc.com. If you can't remember that, just Google Action Industries. Proud partner of LSU Athletics. Or go apply in person at their Highway 30 office in Geismar and ask for Zach. It's Action Industries. They were also awarded a capital project, so they got a year-long project coming as well. We'll tell you more about, but check them out. It's Action Industries.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless you add Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product is always customer satisfaction.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, glad you're rolling along with us. Mutual have Tigers in the pros here in about 10 minutes from right now. No Otter locks, I guess, today, huh? Otter's traveling?
I'm not sure. I'll check.
I don't know when. Charlie and Jimmy were traveling today. I don't know what time they're landing. So if they're back on home turf.
Yeah. 2-1 night last night for the Otter.
Okay. So he gave you Otter locks yesterday?
Yeah, we had Otter locks yesterday.
What did he have?
So let's see. He hit with the A's on the money line.
Not a bit.
How about that? Yeah, I'll give him a ding. And he had Boston College. Boston College plus the points last night.
Man, the only redeeming part of that trip for me, Muse, is I
good weekend?
Hammered. Well, I'll tell you this. On Saturday, we went 4-3.
Not bad.
With wins, we had Notre Dame and Miami. obviously. So those were nice pieces to the day that were needed. But the big win. What was our favorite play last week for LSU?
Oh, the under.
The under. Talked about it all week. Did
Had
you
it
play
myself.
it?
Yeah, did. Played the odds boost on it too.
So, well, to play an odds boost, you're making a smaller wager. Suffice to say, I did not make a small wager. I took all of the monies from all of the Saturday winnings that I had and put it all on the under.
There you go.
And so it was a very nice way to, I handed Erica the ticket. I said, go cash this, please. And she said, what do I do? I was like, just take this ticket to the guy right there. Just hand this to that guy, and he's going to give you a big stack of cash. So that was a nice way to finish an otherwise miserable experience Sunday. It wasn't a miserable experience. Like the game, it was a really well-played game. The crowd was great. The stadium is beautiful, all that stuff. By the way, SC, God, it's just, I don't know how to say this without it sounding like sour grapes. Boy, they're lame.
I don't think that's sour grapes. I just think it's kind of funny, though.
I mean, but I know how that's going to come across, and someone's going to clip this and put it on the internet and tag SC fans, and then they're going to go, oh, you sucked and you lost. I'm like, real talk, man. Like, my life's good. I'm going to be good. I want LSU to win every game, but if they don't, I'm not going to kick the dog. But, like, golly, they're lame. The victory thing, they do the two, this. They do this. They don't. It's not four. It's not four like a splitty. It's an up. It's an up and away.
That is
with
dumb.
the two with the victory. And here's the problem, though, Muse.
That's supposed to be victory. That's what that is.
It's a V. It's victory.
Oh.
So,
didn't know that.
Yeah. Stick with me. You'll learn a few things. But here's the thing: when they do this, they're not making. This doesn't make any noise.
No, it doesn't. It's silent. Yeah.
So their band is on the field. So SC brought their full band. LSU brought a pep band. So the SC band played their full pregame, and LSU didn't. Their band stayed at the stands because it was just pep band, travel band. So SC did their whole pregame thing, right, where they spell out USC and the band members that wear the sunglasses and the Trojan hat and all whatever. So I'm like, you're inside, kid. Take off the glasses, but whatever. And so they do their little thing, and it's just eerily quiet in the stadium because it's just everybody's just doing this. And if you're listening on radio, I got my two fingers in the air, just pumping it in the air at an angle. It was so bizarre.
I liked when the mascot got the sword stuck in the turf.
Yeah, so I was sitting.
That was awesome.
I was sitting next to a USC fan, so I had great seats. Big thanks to our friends at Mockler who helped me out. But the folks next to me were some people from Baton Rouge with their daughter, and their daughter went to SC and married an SC guy, so they were there. So the parents were cheering for LSU. Their kids were cheering for SC, obviously. And so the guy next to me is the guy who married into the family who was wearing an SC jersey. And so we were kind of joking a little bit about that. I'm like, I feel for the guy. So did they show that on TV? I'm sticking the sword.
No, I saw it on Twitter after.
Okay, so the part of their pregame is the guy in the Trojan mascot goes to midfield, twirls his sword around, and stabs the midfield logo. Well, it's an artificial surface.
Yeah.
So I would assume with grass, the sword would come out pretty easily.
Yes.
On this artificial surface, the sword did not. It was like the sword in the stone. Your boy was like wiggling it to take it out a little bit.
You could see the field come up.
Yeah.
Like it made
bent a little bit.
Yes. Like it was hilarious.
They were just maybe it's different if you're at the Coliseum and you got the horse running around the field and all that sort of stuff. They were just a little lame. And respect, they won the game and all that stuff, and they got great history at SC and everything. But it was just, I don't know, man. It probably stung a little more losing to someone who probably didn't care as much as you did. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they were going to go back to LA and surf and just be fine with the result.
That's what I was going to say when you were like, it sounds like sour grape. But, I mean, it's like USC's not known for having a great fan base. The Coliseum's normally 2/3 full, maybe. Like, it's just...
When they're great, it's a see and be seen thing.
Yes.
Celebrities on the sideline, Snoop, Will Ferrell, all that stuff. They're not great right now, so it's not really a big event
exactly
in LA.
It's LA. They have a lot. It's LA.
Yeah,
they have a
got a lot
lot to
going on.
compete with. It's that for everyone except the Lakers, right? I mean, they love the Lakers.
Apparently, they love the Rams too.
Yeah, whatever.
Just when they win.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway, my goodness. JC said, "Are you the bad luck charm on the season openers?" Clemson's going to be lit without you. Now, hold on. I was not at the 2 games against Florida State. The New Orleans game, we went down, did shows, did pregame, and then I drove back to Baton Rouge. Did not go to the game. We went for the New Orleans game.
Yeah.
Went to New Orleans. We did the pregame show at Rouse's.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
We did Rouse's before the game. Then I drove back to Baton Rouge for the game. And then, because we watched it, finished at Don Juan, did whiskey and wine and everything. Then last year, the Orlando game, we did not travel to Orlando.
Nope.
So they lost the last 2 and I didn't go.
That's true.
Also, I went in 2010 when they won the opener against North Carolina in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I did not go in 11 to Dallas when they beat Oregon.
Right.
I went in, was it 12 or 13 when they played TCU?
It was 12. It was Mettenberger's first start.
12 was TCU or 13 was TCU?
Or maybe it was 13.
I thought 12 one of the seasons 12 they opened with North Texas.
And they played Washington week 2. That was their Power 5.
12.
That was 12.
13,
so 13
they opened
was TCU.
in Fort Worth. We stayed in Fort Worth. They played TCU.
It's
in
kind of the same
Arlington.
thing.
Yeah, all that stuff. Anyway, I went to all those and they won.
Sure.
My point about, and I was supposed to talk about Kamara. I'll bump it. We'll get to it. Just very quickly, because a lot of people have asked, like, should LSU continue playing these games? And my point is unequivocally no. Nick Saban said it best. Nick Saban is someone who lobbied for an all-Power 5, now Power 4 schedule. Said we need to get rid of the games nobody wants to see. Everybody should play a Power 5 schedule. Now Power 4 schedule. And I wholeheartedly endorse that. Nobody wants to watch LSU play Nichols this weekend. All right? You jacked about this one, Muse?
Nope.
Paul, Cade Wassan, our PD who's a Nichols alum, I think he's pumped about it. Paul, are you jacked about this?
Not one bit.
Nobody cares. Nobody wants to see the game. Nobody wants to see Ole Miss score 76 against Furman, or Arkansas scored 70 against Pine Bluff, or any of the other horrendous football we saw this past weekend or that's coming up this weekend. Nobody wants to see it. Those are money games. They're body bag games. It's garbage. It's nothing but a gate receipt. I've said it for years. It's atrocious that you play them. The only reason you play them is a gate receipt. That's it. I want to see 12 Power 5 games. But I want to see, or Power 4. I want to see the entire country agree to that. You got to have uniformity. And there is no sense, none, in voluntarily putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage. We never had this conversation when LSU was winning all their openers. But now you haven't won one in 5 years. So if you can get out of playing Clemson next year, do it. Or if you can schedule a week 0 game next year, do it. Absolutely. Because what's happening right now is you are voluntarily putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage. And I know there's somebody sitting in their car right now or watching me on YouTube at their house going, whatever, man, you want to be the best, beat the best. And I'm telling you, that's stupid. That is stupid. That is a stupid, bravado-filled mentality. You are challenged plenty enough in the SEC. And if the committee is going to look at a win as a win and a loss as a loss, then why challenge yourself? If the committee's going to look and say, if LSU had beaten USC, that's the same as Ole Miss beating Furman, then why are you playing USC? Because when you lose that game, it's devastating. Don't play them anymore. You got Clemson the next 2 years. If you can get out of it, do it. Get out of it. I got no desire to see it. Open up at home against South Dakota. Does UTEP have an open date? Bring them in. Who else sucks at football?
A lot of teams.
Who did Missouri? Give me Southeast.
Murray State.
Give me Southeast Missouri State. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me that. Start 1-0 and then figure it out the rest of the way. All right, Muse will do Tigers and the pros. Oh, God, we're late. Go, Zafar.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Oh, are we counting down the days here? How many days do we have left for the Get Gordon Billboard contest? Is that the 9th? Oh, man. Days are counting down. Go to getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. You're creative. You want to design Gordon's next billboard and win up to $2,000 in prizes? Go to getgordon.com/billboards. You can design Gordon's next billboard. You can win $2,000 up in prizes. And your design could be on Gordon's next billboard, but you got until the 9th. So the clock is ticking. Make sure you go design your billboard. Get that entered now. You want all the rules and regs. You can get it at getgordon.com/billboards. Getgordon.com/billboards. Also, how about the significance of the date? You can go to getgordon.com/guess. They have a black billboard with just a date on it. You got to guess the significance of the date, and you can win prizes as well. Tons of giveaways. You know what to do. Get Gordon. Get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Let's move quickly on Sean Salisbury in 10 minutes. Right now, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All righty, we start with some news out of the NFL. Today, the Carolina Panthers released linebacker Kayvon Chason.
Who?
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. 25 years old, was the Jaguars' number 20 overall pick, of course, in 2020. Registered 5 sacks, 11 tackles for a loss, 23 hits on the quarterback in 57 games. Played his first 4 years with the Jaguars. Now looking for a new deal, was signed by the Panthers back in March. It's Paul Ski and Shove Day. facing the
go.
Cubs. He's already beat them up pretty good throughout the season, but he'll get another crack at him here. Looking for win number 8, ERA just north of 2. See if Paul Skeens can get it done here tonight. Sam Burns has made his 3rd consecutive President's Cup team. Shout out to Sam Burns, captain's pick of Captain Jim Furyk. That'll get underway here in a few weeks. Angel Reese back on the floor tonight, coming off a double-double. She had 19 and 17 the last time out. But how about this? Angel Reese is set to become the 2nd player in history to get a signature shoe from Reebok. The only other one is Rebecca Lobo. That news coming from the Sports Business Journal. So congrats to Angel Reese. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros, presented by Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. I don't know if you heard the news, but September, despite the fact that we've only got 5 named storms so far, they're projecting September to be unusually active. We're not out of storm season yet. Prepare now. Call Optimize, the generator people. You want to get that Generac automatic home generator installed? Call Optimize today. You got $600 for a down payment. They got financing options to meet any budget. They got your guaranteed pricing, so whatever they quote you, that's the price you pay, nothing more. GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com, serving the entire 1012 corridor from Lake Charles all the way to Slidell, anywhere in between. GeneratorPeople.com. That's Optimize, GeneratorPeople.com, GeneratorPeople.com. Sean Salisbury joins us next. Excited to welcome Sean back to the show. We'll talk LSU, USC, and get you set for week 1 in the NFL, talking Saints, Panthers, and much more. Sean Salisbury after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Man, had a great time this weekend out in Vegas. My buddy Brandon Holly, of course, his wife Adrian, they traveled as well with Jason Ramazan and Mr. Fun's Travel. And it's always great to see him, and just another reminder of why I'm always so thrilled to be able to tell you about Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Because when I talk about Relief Windows, yes, a window is a commodity. There's tons of companies that sell windows and doors and siding and shutters and all that sort of stuff. But there's no company that even comes close to matching the level of customer service, the experience you will have with Relief Windows. If you're just shopping price, don't call them. You want to go get 5 different bids? You can do that. And if you're just looking for the cheapest one, that will never be Relief Windows. I'm just telling you straight up. It's a premium product. It's great customer service. Lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. And you never pay $1 till they're done and you're thrilled. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 49ers All-Pro left tackle Trent Williams and the team agreed to a restructured 3-year, $82 million contract, $48 million at signing, and a $25 million signing bonus. That officially ends the holdout for Williams, who missed all of training camp. No worries, though, for the team regarding Williams for the season opener against the Jets Monday night, notes our Harry Douglas.
You know he's a veteran. He's 36 years old. So if you can count on anyone being in tip-top shape and ready for the season, outside of football, it's going to be a guy in Trent Williams. You know, football is football because you're consistently contacting defensive players, and that's a part of being in shape. I just don't feel like they're going to be on a pitch count because they trust Trent Williams so much.
49ers GM John Lynch said today rookie receiver Ricky Pearsall is doing remarkably well after being shot during a robbery attempt on Saturday. Lynch said it was miraculous he wasn't hurt worse. The bullet didn't hit any of his organs, and closer examination revealed no significant damage. Pearsall is on the non-football injury list and is out at least the first 4 games of this season.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Been a good 2 hours in the books already. If you missed Shea, Dixon, Hour 1, Peter Burns of the SEC Network was here as well. Saints worked out former first-round pick John Ross, maybe looking to tweak that offense as we head toward Week 1. But every Tuesday throughout football season, it's our pleasure to have Sean Salisbury back on the show. We'll talk some college and NFL with Sean every Tuesday here in Hour 3. He's good enough to join us now. Sean, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. How are you, Matty? Good to talk to you.
Man, it's our pleasure.
Echo, brother. Can you hear me okay?
He said he's got an echo. If I don't know if they're you got it mute? You got it mute?
You guys got me there, bud?
I just heard it as well. I got you, Sean. Let's see. Let's see if we can iron that out.
No problem. You're not. I don't hear myself now. But,
okay, good.
If you
good?
Can hear me, I'm good. So I just want to let you know. I could have dealt with it anyway, dude. You know what? Got to tread through some crap sometimes. We all been there, so we're good.
No, we
good
got
to be
that
with you again.
Man, it's our pleasure. It's good to see you. If you're watching on YouTube or on WBTR, we got Sean with us on video as well. Hey, man, wanted to get you last week before the game. I guess the post-game react will have to do. Your Trojans got it done, man. I would love if you had a big picture takeaway from Sunday night. What was your takeaway from the game?
I think both these teams still have better football in front of them. A couple things that, on the LSU side, the obvious stuff that we saw. But you can't when you're playing in big games, especially early. And Maddie, I don't know how you feel. I always believe that you can get to good teams early. Like if you're playing in like Georgia, even though they play average and they're pretty good, that I want to play them early. Like and if I'm Clemson, even though it didn't work out well for them, I'd like to get them early. So because around week 5 or 6 when things start to go. I don't want any part of that. And LSU, it was 3 years in a row, Brian hasn't won the opener, right? Yeah. And then they get going. So good time to get him, and especially as a guy who loves LSU, but I'm also a USC guy. So I'm like, well, the way we play defense at USC the last 3 years, let me try to get LSU now. But I still didn't expect the overall physicality that I got from USC. I expected an upgrade, but that was a difference in the game. Their defensive front seven and stacking the box, and still for LSU to try and still tighten down their formations and try to run when we know the dominant thing going in. We expected you guys, I know SC fans did, a little bullying going on. And I think SC, took pride in the fact that, okay, we've been pushed around the last 2 or 3 seasons and we've scored 40 and give up 44. So how do we match up against this team? It's got one of the best offensive lines in America. They've got great, bookend tackles, all that. And they did a great job of urgency off the ball. They did a great job of, quite frankly, in this one, and I don't say this very often, USC in the past I did, Maddie, but USC was more physical. They were more physical in the interior than LSU was, and that was the whole key to the game. Now, there's other ones, penalties, stupid penalties that LSU's got to be better at. And I'm talking about the pass interference in the end zone, the gun situation where you just controllable penalties. I know when they're battling, hand fighting, I get that. And then at the end, the targeting call on the great throw up in the hole and the ability to make the big play. And they made a few more big plays than LSU did. So, and like I said, when I talk physicality, normally when I'm coming on to talk about SC anywhere in the country, it's usually, oh yeah, boy, we'll finesse you to death, but we just don't have the moxie or the toughness or enough underneath us to go and stop somebody. And Maddie, it felt different from the first goal line stand. When they got that stop, the last few years, your team's scoring. They're walking in. It's just the way it works. So they did a great job scheming, knowing what LSU, a big strength of theirs is getting initial push. And I think it kind of caught LSU off guard, but I think they could have helped themselves in the run game, started a little slow, conservative, and then at the end, by spreading them out and still running it, we get this perception that when you spread it out, at home, that you got to line up in the eye and do that like we old school. That's the way, and that gives you a better advantage. And I know that people want to get under center as opposed to being in the gun. I get that. But you can spread this thing out and run just effective by removing people. You brought what SC's strength was in that game, which is not normal, is they were really, really physical at the point of attack, which is unlike them. And I think it caught some people off guard. And then both quarterbacks, I thought Nuss played a really good football game. I would have put the ball in his hand even more, Maddie. Sometimes you got to get out of at times it looked Les Miles-esque, and I know that's not Brian Kelly, and I know that's not who LSU, they want to run it. Who doesn't? Lincoln wants to run it. But when it's going, you got to adjust as well. And you've got to be able to make the adjustments during a game and say, okay, today I can't hit a fastball, so I better put this doggone thing, I better hit it the other way and move runners over or small ball them. I would have put the ball like SC did until the end in the quarterback's hand and say, go win it for me. I thought both quarterbacks played well. I think you're going to see better football from both. I hope SC can keep this physical approach up in the Big Ten. They're going to have to. LSU's going to have to run it better. They're going to have to stop beating themselves up with penalties. And I need them to trust Nussmeier to more make those big plays because I know he can. So I was impressed with both quarterbacks. And Moss showed me something, Maddie, he did. From that pocket, I'm talking about on schedule, he's a better thrower on schedule than Caleb Williams. Now, when I say that, people are going to go, what? I didn't say he's a better player. Mm-hmm. I said for last year, and I saw his poise to stand in there, wondering how physical LSU was going to be and take shots to the chin because you guys hit him and still make that bang post off an RPO where he got hit in the mouth and still made a great throw. He made a really good throw backside on an anticipation when the receiver wasn't looking. The whole shot, like I said, to get him in scoring. And I thought SC beat him in the aggressiveness, play calling. I thought SC was more aggressive at the point of attack, and I think they made more big plays. Now, if they both played again next week, Gordy and I were talking about this today, my guy, and we both agree that if they played next week, LSU would still be favored. They would still favor LSU in the game. SC showed me some guts that I haven't seen and some fight when it comes to physicality. And in order to survive the SEC, if you're LSU, obviously, but USC, you have got to have that mentality. Beat you up first and then finesse you second. And I thought they did both about as well as they've done in the last couple of years.
Sean, dig a little deeper, if you would, on the play calling, because that's a big part of the conversation around LSU people. And I look at it, and Tigers threw it 38 times, ran it 26 times, and, man, they were almost 50-50 balanced in the second half. So and I went through a lot of sequences too, Sean, where they showed good balance. They showed some creativity. But when you look at the 10,000-foot view, a lot of people share that belief. So if you would just dig a little deeper on what you saw from LSU's play calling.
Every coach I know, even guys who throw it like they and are mad scientists, Mike Leach, God rest his soul, we've talked about it a million times, right. Lincoln Riley, Andy Reid, at every level. I'm just telling you, no matter what it looks like throwing it, I have never played for a coach, Norv Turner, who was my coordinator at SC, to Denny Green in the NFL, to Brian Billick. And you know this, Matty, with all your travels and how closely tied into football you are. They all want to run it. Because when you run it, you take the soul out of a team and it's physical, and then the finesse plays off it. You can be as finesse as you want and throw haymakers that way and hope you land the shot. It's the physical that steals your soul. It's that. So it's not even the distribution, because I've told you this before, that you go watch football on Sundays, and probably Saturday may be different, but I watched it every week on Sundays. It'll hold true again this year. The team that has the most attempts wins about 80% of the time. I'm just telling you, in the running game. Now, we've got a quarterback league that the extension of the pass play, the run game is the short screens, and SC's screen game was spot on. I mean, they did a great job of misdirection, sprint right, and throwback. They did a great job of it. It was a complete game. But I'll tell you what it is. It's not so much the distribution. It's how they did it. I think you could have been a little more creative. Listen, easy for me to say when I'm sitting there replaying, hitting rewind during commercial, going back and saying, look at this, easy. But I also think that they trusted, meaning LSU, that at some point they were going to gash and wear SC out. And they started to a little bit late. So I get running it, because when you throw 38 times, you say, damn, how many more times do you want to throw? But there's also, like I said, those adjustments, and you say, okay, today's not our 140-yard day. How are we going to get this, whether it's an extension of the run game by throwing it short, moving the screen game? Because I thought both quarterbacks stood in there and did their thing. I think it's the creativity with personnel groupings and the way you run it, not necessarily the distribution. Hell, most want to flip that, Matty. They want to run it 38 times and throw it 26, 27 times. So that's not it. I think, and I understand feeling your way at the beginning, trying to go up and back and forth. Who is SC? We all asked it. Damn, I asked it a million times. Who am I going to see? And I know what I saw. Now they got to sustain. They got Michigan in 2 weeks in the big house. That'll be a test. So I don't think you saw the best of either team at the line of scrimmage. I think you saw better at USC's defensive front. But to me, it was the conservative part wasn't necessarily 3 yards punt. It was the mix. But I would have done maybe a little more creative from my vantage point in my living room, which is easy. I would have used the run game, and I would have done a little more creativity with the way my personnel groupings and spread it out. You saw what Lincoln did at the end there. You think they're playing for a tie, going to wear it out, boom, or maybe one more throw, bam. What's he do? Gashes them. They get a hole. The safety overruns the play, cut back, touchdown. There you go. So I think creativity there. They'll get better. LSU is far from done, and I understand Brian Kelly's frustration, but it was self-inflicted, a lot of those things. And then it was USC who showed up to a heavyweight fight instead of showing up like a bunch of lightweights on defense like they have the last 2 years.
He's Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Of course, you catch him weekday morning, Sports Talk 790 there in Houston, host of the Sean Salisbury Show. We got Sean for a couple of segments here on Tuesdays. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Another follow-up on LSU SC. Also want to ask Sean about Saints in week 1 of the NFL. Hey, look, it's Tuesday. Supper Club's back open. Closed every Monday, but closed Sunday, Monday, back open on Tuesday. So opening actually here in about another 20 minutes or so. Looking for dinner plans tonight. You want to go extend your holiday weekend, you can get by Supper Club tonight. Go have a cocktail, a glass of wine after work. Or if you're looking for that Friday night or date night, Friday before football games, make sure you get your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. Maybe you got clients coming in from out of town for one of the home games, you want to go to dinner on Friday night before, they can go above and beyond. You want a flower setting a flower bouquet at the table when you wait, they can arrange that for you. You want custom drink toppers. Maybe you have clients coming in. You want custom drink toppers with your client's logo. They can do that at Supper Club. Those extras, those add-ons, the above and beyond, they give you an unforgettable experience at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. Get your reservation today. SupperClubBTR.com. Okay, it's after further review. We'll continue with Sean Salisbury. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, I love telling you about Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. We got Saints game day coming up on Sunday. So if you're going to be watching the Saints, maybe you're going out to watch the Tigers play on Saturday and you'll be in the Dome on Sunday or watching from home for either one, make Rouse's part of your game day all season long. If you're having a tailgate or a game watch, make sure you go to Rouse's. Remember, at Rouse's, they've got your game day trays. If you want your vegetable trays, if you want your fruit trays, you want your cheese trays, your finger sandwiches, the small muffalettas, if you want anything from party platters of ribs and all the sides and fixins. If you don't feel like cooking on game day, let Rouse's take care of it for you. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. You can find the location of Rouse's nearest you, or chances are wherever you live, from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. You know where the Rouse's is nearest you because there's about 70 locations of them in all. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Louisiana born and bred, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps are held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We always appreciate Sean Salisbury for giving us some time during football season. It's Tuesday, so it's a great chance to visit with our guy, Sean Salisbury. Spent that first segment there with Sean talking about LSU, USC from an offensive side. Sean, as we continue, we'll get to NFL Week 1 here in just a quick second, but I did want to ask a quick follow-up if you had any observation, big picture or otherwise, game 1 of LSU's new defense under Blake Baker. What stood out?
I liked it, and I think, in just real quick overview of both, Matty, didn't you think both defenses had the ability to be really aggressive and go multiple on you? I liked it. I did. And speaking of LSU, I'll tell you, there was some good coverage on plays in the back end, and Moss just made some fantastic throws that if he's a split second late. And I love I know it didn't end up the way they wanted to, but, putting themselves in a bind penalty-wise, but just the effort. And I know we don't coach effort, but it's easy when a guy has a ball in his hands to quit on a play. And there could have been more big plays, but there was a couple of them hit receivers' hands and ball was broken up. Sure. I think as it continues to go on, a strength will continue to be their ability to be multiple on defense and create pressure, because it wasn't like Moss didn't take hits. Miller Moss got hit. They hit him a few times, and they did a hell of a job in the run game, but SC's screen game, and in the end when they could mix in and get it, I mean, neither team rushed for 100 yards, right? And I think both teams going into this defensively, Matty, I think also you get locked into, we know not that both quarterbacks don't have some athleticism to move. We've seen Nuss do some things outside the pocket, and we've seen Moss, but not a lot of them, but we know going into this game is you don't have to worry that they're going to take the game over on the edge like you did with there's two as good as there's been at running it and throwing it, being a dual threat in Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. Mm-hmm. So I think that you can get lost in that and they can buy it. But I think that as they continue and Brian Kelly allows them to do it, I think you're going to continue to see aggressiveness and forced turnovers, and they're going to have to in this conference, as we know. And then trust Nussmeier at the end a little more. I thought SC trusted Moss a tad more down the stretch with the way that they've attacked than maybe LSU did. And I know they trust him, but I thought that they played it. At times it felt like they were playing it to keep it close and then win in the end, as opposed to go out there and plan to win. It's easy to play not to lose as opposed to win. And I think aggressiveness will creep through, as we saw. And it's not going to be the same offense with Jaden, but on the defense side, I think they're aggressive. I think they did a nice job. I think SC held up better than we expected physically, like I said. But I fully expect the transformation of that defense, because they're always going to be good in the secondary, and they've got some young players. But I don't expect the reason LSU doesn't do good things this year and win a bunch of games, I don't expect it to be the fact that they're going to get bullied much on defense. I just don't. And I think you're going to have your hands full. And we saw where he's been in the past that they're creative on defense. And when the offense gets back to matching that full creativity, I think LSU can go on a run. It won't be easy because the SEC is the SEC.
You're right about that. The Tigers do have about a month where they can exhale and improve on some things before Ole Miss comes in. That'll be a big one.
Real quick about that, Matty. It's a good time for them. What do you think Lane's going to do? We talk about multiple. He's going to expect a bunch of different looks, and Jackson Dart can rip it, and he can also beat you with his feet. So when you start to face guys like that who can do both, you kind of had an idea where Moss was going to be launch point wise. So I think it's the beginning. I don't think when the season's over, we're going to say, man, that defense was not very good. They got to be more disciplined, though. They just do. And when they do that, they'll force more turnovers and not put themselves in positions to where they can't come out of it and get stops. And, in short yardage situations, you become more bandwidth as an offense because you've got more options in the run and pass game.
Make sure you get him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Of course, weekday mornings, Sean Salisbury Show, Sports Talk 790 in Houston, one of the best, talking quarterbacks, all things NFL and college. We love having Sean with us. I do want to pivot and get a few thoughts here on the NFL. Sean, you've on this show for many years, you've said with respect to Derek Carr that he's not a February quarterback is the way that you've said it. Good quarterback, just not a February quarterback, meaning a Super Bowl quarterback. But the Saints are, for better or worse, committed contractually to him for the next 2 years. Is there any reason to believe this year, with Clint Kubiak coming in, it could look different or be better than it was a year ago for New Orleans offensively?
Yeah, and what they finished, they're top 10 in points scored last year, Matty, right? If I'm not mistaken. If my memory from the last offseason, this offseason, weren't they in the top 10 in scoring last year?
I'll have to go look it up. I don't know if they finished top 10, but Let's see.
Maybe I'm overstating it, but they we know they can score at times. Here's what I think you're going to see. Matter of fact, I know part of what you're going to see different. And for Derek Carr, and you know, Matty, what I say that he gets you to January, but you know how many guys are in that category? Lamar Jackson's not a February guy yet. I mean, Josh Allen's not a February guy yet. I think that we see the ceilings are maybe different. I like Carr. I told you I liked him with the Raiders, but I think there's got a lot of things got to happen. Taking hits late in the season and standing up, because he is a really, really good. You can be a good player and win a Super Bowl, but the ability to make everything around you better we haven't seen it yet. So that's the only judgment we have in what's been an 8-year career, or whatever it's been now, 9 years. Hell, it goes so fast.
I'll
tell you what's going to look going on a
by
decade.
The way, good
it's
memory.
Right around a decade, isn't it? 11.
They were ninth. They were ninth in scoring last year. Good memory.
So they were top 10. So that should. I think we're at the point now in the NFL that if you give me the number one offense and a top 10 to 15 defense, you're right in the mix. Flip it. Give me a lower third offense and a good defense. You're end up going to be running out of steam. It's just the way it is. You got to hit the long ball at times, short of just, you also got to make the ordinary play look ordinary all season long. Here's what's going to be different for them. You know Kubiak's background. You know exactly what they're going to want to do. Use multiple bodies running the football. They're going to run zone, and they're going to cut back, and they're going to do what Clint's father did. They're going to do what Mike Shanahan did. They're going to want to run you in inside zone, get to the point, dominate the line of scrimmage, but also finesse you at times a point on that inside zone to cut off lanes and backs with vision. Vision in this part of the reason, like Damian Pierce in Houston is still struggling, and why they went out and got Joe Mixon better with this. He had the background with Sean McVay. So this zone schemes, you better be a patient runner, but they're going to try to run it. I'm just telling you. And we know their back end on defense is going to get a bunch of plays made in New Orleans, and they've upgraded the pass rush. And so they're going to do what Dennis Allen wants to do on defense. They're going to pressure you. They're going to get stops, and hopefully your offense can score at the right time, not just score top 10 in points, but at the right time. So I think you're going to see them. They're still going to throw it, but I think you're going to see more emphasis on the inside and outside zone, running that football more with the Kubiak background to control clock and allow you to win close, less than 30 points a game type of score and win those games. But the emphasis on the running game and the domination at the line of scrimmage will be utterly important for them, because I know they know their defense can get stops and that they're one of the better teams at the corner position in the league, maybe depth at safety, but and adding the pass rush, and they tried to upgrade that. I can tell you, though, that regardless, McVay, Shanahan, Kubiak, they want to run it, and they will run it on 3rd and 6 at times and 3rd and 7 to believe they can get the first down. It's going to be pivotal. I mean, it's going to be a major, may look a little different from what you're used to, but you're going to get back to seeing some horizontal stuff, and you're going to get back to seeing a team that emphasizes that zone run scheme, unless Clint's completely changed from what Gary and Mike have done in the past.
About Carolina, Sean, I mean, how much better are you expecting Bryce Young to be? Saints get the Panthers week 1. How much better are you expecting Bryce Young to be with Dave Canales there now? Maybe some stability?
Everywhere he's gone. I think Canales 2 years ago, didn't he have Geno in Seattle? Then went and did his thing. I mean, wherever and went to Tampa.
It was Baker last year, yeah.
Baker Mayfield, yeah. So he's really good football coach and a good X's and O's guy. The leadership part, we'll see. Matty, you know how that goes. The buy-in. I don't know I know at training camp everybody thinks they got buy-in. We're going to find out in the fall about that part of Dave that I don't know enough about, but I know about his approach to football. Here's what we're spoiled here when we see you guys with Drew Brees, but as a young quarterback, C.J. Stroud, you're not supposed to do what he did last year, right? So here everybody says, whenever Mahomes did it, well, we want everybody to look like Mahomes. Now C.J., we want this class got to look like it. Well, Bryce Young looked like most rookies look, right? Maybe not. Maybe it's changed now because of all the emphasis on passing and all the reps, and we're starting them immediately. But the Bryce Young, I think Bryce Young's still going to be a good player. He's accurate. He's got great football mindset. But I don't care who you are and how good you are. If you can't set your feet and throw the football, you got no shot to be successful. And he got his brains beat in last year. So they've upgraded that. At least they think they have. You're going to have to spend time doing what he does best. Change his launch point. He's not going to drop back 40 times from that little circle and hula hoop in the pocket and beat you from there. You need to change it. RPO, get him on the edge, bootleg, throw from the pocket, get the ball out quick. He's better than you saw, but that's rookie football for the most part. but he's got some football savant in him. I expect him to be better. They upgraded the wide receiver position. That's going to be a fun matchup, how the upgrade at wide receiver for Carolina does against a really good 3 to 4 deep corner position for the Saints. So I expect him to be better. Hell, I don't know if they're going to be picking first or fourth, but they're no threat in my mind in the South to win the thing, but they will be better than a bye week, and they will compete. Bryce Young will be better. I think he went to work, and they helped him. And if you can't play the position from sitting on your rear end. And here's the thing I know about young quarterbacks. We always or two-dimensional quarterbacks that can run. We always think that guy who extends the play, Fields, all these guys who are that first and then throw second, as opposed to the guy who's a great pocket, a Joe Burrow who can throw it from the pocket, but still buy you time extending it, even though he's not going to lead the lead in rushing. Or Lamar Jackson, who gets on the edge, is that you have absolutely got to. I mean, they run into sacks. That's the thing of allowing a quarterback to get through his progression. That's why you got to shore up that line if you're Carolina. You got to allow them, because what do they lean on, Matty, when they're young and they really don't know what's going on, even though they think they do? It's different in college than it is the NFL. Is it that first one's not open? What's the first thing you do? You bail.
Run.
And you bail right into trouble. And you guys in New Orleans for years had a guy who wasn't a runner, but stayed in there, undersized, but first one, hold on, slide step, reset, and throw. Trust your second one. Trust your third one. That's the next level for Bryce Young, because they're going to pressure him. They're going to give him looks. It's going to happen this week, but they'll be better. And the difference from year one to year two, I can just tell you, is light switch is a lot. I mean, the light's a lot brighter. Now, how bright for Bryce Young it'll be in that division and with his personnel, we'll see. But he will be better. And I would caution people to call him a bust, because he played like a rookie most of the time, but they've given him a little bit of help, and he will be better. But we compare everybody to the Strouds of the world down. It's just not fair. We got to let the guy progress. But they helped him by upgrading, and they've got a coach who knows offense. He'll be a better football player this year, but they've got to change his launch point and be creative with him to where he can excel at it and stay out of running himself into sacks as well.
My guy said they'll be better than a bye week. That's about what it felt like for Carolina.
Just the truth, brother. Just the truth.
Hey, we're short on time. Next week I'll get your thoughts on Caleb and on Jaden. But real quick, do you have a pick for the Super Bowl? Do you have a favorite this year?
You know what? I usually wait till the Friday before.
Yeah, I get it.
It's too easy for me to pick the 49ers and the Chiefs, Matty, or the Eagles, right? It is. You know what I'm going to do? As we said, I thought about it.
Okay.
And I believe the Detroit Lions hype is real.
Let's
do,
go.
and I think they're good. I think they're better. I am going to take a flyer and say them in the NFC over like the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, although we'll see if they got that in them. I love what Dan Campbell does. On the other side, real quick, you know what? Again, easy to pick the Chiefs and Baltimore and those teams. I'm going to say that Joe Burrow's team gets back.
Let's go.
I am. I like, and it's an odd suit. Detroit and Cincinnati, who never paid and did anything until Burrow got there. And Detroit, oh my gosh. Well, I actually think that we could have, and boy, would that be fun to watch those guys throw it around the lot and do their thing. I'm going Detroit and Cincinnati. How's that?
How about that, man? A Detroit-Cincinnati Super Bowl. How about
Joe
the
TV
Burrow?
cameras, man, the TVs networks may not want it, but I'm hoping for it. And I think it'd be one hell of a football game, because there's a lot of great football players on those teams.
Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl in the Superdome. That would be pretty epic. Won a college championship in the Dome. He'd have a chance to win a Super Bowl there.
And there's another reason, and part of the reason why I picked them, because I've had Cincinnati on my mind for a couple years now. And I'll tell you this, if they do go, guess what Burrow's not doing in that Superdome on Super Bowl Sunday? Losing. Okay. So if they get there, give me Cincinnati to win the whole thing this year. How's that?
I love a good pick like that.
Hell, why not? If listen, I'm gonna get good odds on both. I mean, Detroit not as much. Cincinnati, I may get good ones. I mean, I can go down there and pick a long shot, but I maybe it's part of me that says, okay, there's a little fatigue with Kansas City, even though I love Andy and they keep winning. What are you going to do? But Detroit's capable. They're physical and can play. And we know Cincinnati, when they're healthy, is, getting Chase happy and getting Joe healthy. I think Cincinnati's got a bone to pick too. So anytime Burrow has that in his mind, I'll take him all day and twice on Sunday.
Bengals plus 1,300 to win the Super Bowl. Get that ticket ready.
Why not? I've already been on it, brother. So there you go.
He's Sean Salisbury on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Y'all give him a follow. He'll be with us here on Tuesdays throughout the football season. You're the best. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you, brother. Great to be back with you.
It's our pleasure. We'll do it again next Tuesday. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure, and they've been doing that for 75 years. They got their TRAC system. It's an acronym, TRAC, Track, Records, Assets, and Calibrations. It's a free service. It allows you 24/7, 365 access to all of your calibration certificates. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Of course, it'll make you more efficient. You ever get audited? Boom. Every precision measurement device, its calibration date down to the technician who calibrated that device. It's there for you. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Been a really good show, man. Glad to be back. Of course, traveling yesterday. Thanks to Moose for filling in yesterday. We appreciate it. We're not going to break. Come back with the week one of the college football season now in the rearview mirror. Some bowl projections are out. We'll give you the LSU roundup. Brian Kelly had a lot to say today. We'll knock out as much of this as we can, including Harold Perkins' first game at off-ball linebacker. Blake Baker's defense. We'll get to it here as we continue in Otter Locks in about 12 minutes. Don't move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Been telling you for years to buy local, shop local. This week over at Clegg's, y'all, it is a great time because pumpkins are going to be here later this week. Let the fall decorating begin. Pumpkins, hay bales, all their friends. They're scheduled to be delivered on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. So the stores will have them stocked, ready to sell by Friday. So if that changes, we'll certainly pass it along to you. But get ready. The fall decor is here. It's time to plant your fall garden. They got the vegetable plants, Johnny Naylor seeds. It is a fun activity for the entire family. You want to go plant those fall vegetable gardens, watch them grow, do a fun activity with the kids, add some beautiful pop of color. And of course, it's farm to table. You can grow your own vegetables. It's Clegg's that can help. So get on by and see him at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial properties. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We'll get to Otter Locks here in less than 10 minutes, see what the Otters bet on. Muse told us 2-1 for the Otter last night, huh?
2-1.
Babe, and he had BC.
He had BC, yeah. The loss was a parlay, too, so, I mean.
You could be a Florida State fan today. Oh, did you see the thing on Twitter our side piece, Jay Crane, posted?
I did not, but I have a feeling I know what it's about. It's about a certain Florida State fan who, that coward.
Well, so he
didn't do it.
There's a Florida State fan who posted on Twitter that there was no way Florida State was losing it to Boston College. If they did, he would put dog poop.
There you go.
In a red Solo cup and eat it with a spoon.
Yep, and video it and post it.
So have we heard from this guy?
Yes, he tweeted this morning, "Stop tagging me. I'm not eating dog poop." All you have as a man is your word, Matt, and this guy's word is terrible.
It's true. He's no better than Dwayne Thibodeau.
There you go.
Coward. After the game, we're doing whiskey and wine, and the one thing that really set me off, like ignited the fuse, was when we started talking about the decision after LSU won the toss to receive. Brian Kelly was asked about it today. Here's his explanation for why they chose to receive instead of defer.
In terms of receiving the kickoff, that is a personal preference of scoring first. The team that scores first has a higher percentage of winning games. So I've always carried that philosophy with me throughout my career of wanting to go on offense first. Now, I know a lot of people want to defer, get the ball in the third quarter, and I totally understand that, and there's certain situations that I would do that in wanting to put our defense on the field first. But I felt like our offense was the group that I wanted to see first, and so that's why we made that decision. Had nothing to do with the analytics in that situation.
And the problem, well, and he's right, it had nothing to do with the analytics because the analytics tell you defer. And there's so much analytics associated now with every sport. And I'm not saying you always default to the analytics. But in situations like that, there's a reason why you defer. You want the opportunity to score at the end of the first half and the start of the second half. And because you get the ball first in the second half, you have ultimately an extra possession in the second half. Which, if it comes down to a tight ball game, wouldn't you like to be the one with the ball with 8 seconds to go inside your opponent's red zone with a chance to win it? It's exactly what transpired. And the really disappointing thing is the exact same thing happened last year, y'all. LSU won the toss against Florida State, deferred, drove right down the field, went forward on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line, and Jaden Daniels got sacked. You came up with no points. At the end of the first half, Florida State ended up scoring a touchdown on their last drive, on the drive to end the half, I should say. And then LSU did get the ball and kicked a field goal, but then Florida State got the ball to start the second half, kicked a field goal. People forgot LSU led that game at halftime last year. For all the talk about LSU getting crushed by Florida, LSU led that game at half. Anyway, but then obviously we saw what transpired in the second half. But you could go to Ole Miss and Missouri last year. Same things transpired in those two games. Against Missouri, the big kicker, Mevis. Remember the fat kicker Mevis who kicked like an 80-yarder? Like he kicked a 50-yard field goal at the gun at the end of the half against LSU. Missouri got the ball to start the second half, and he kicked another field goal. So they went back-to-back possessions with points there. It's just, I'm sorry, he missed the field goal at the start of the second. So he made the 50-yarder at the end of the first half, missed the field goal at the start of the second half, but they had the chance to go back-to-back possessions there. It's just the wrong play. It's just the wrong decision. And I mean, look, Brian Kelly's been a head coach for 33 years. I get all that. But, I mean, Bill Belichick never elected to receive. He's the greatest coach ever. There's a mathematical probability you play there. You want the extra possession in the second half and all that stuff. So I'm not on board with that decision. I think, and then obviously also the decision to go for it on 4th and goal. And you could say hindsight's 2020. This isn't hindsight 2020. This is like me with bunting in baseball. Like I'm never okay bunting to advance a runner. To give up and out to advance a runner, because your mathematical probability never increases when you bunt to advance a runner. You want to bunt to score a run? Okay. Because the objective is to score. In football, your objective isn't to win time of possession. It's not to have more yards. The objective is to score more points. And when you have an opportunity to score points, you score points. And you had an opportunity right there after taking the ball, driving down the field to put points on the board, and you didn't do it. So that was a mistake, just like it was a mistake last year. So for everyone who's throwing their hands in the air, complaining about that, I'm right there with you, and it's not hindsight. I believe you win the toss, you defer. You want the ball to start the second half. Put your defense out there, hope you get a stop. You may not get a stop. It happened against Ole Miss. You didn't get a stop. But, actually against Missouri, you didn't get the stop. Ole Miss, you had the ball first. But, anyway, Brian Kelly, clearly that's his approach. It's what he's going to do. It's what he's done during his time here. I disagree with it. I don't know that he changes. I want to let you also hear what Brian Kelly had to say about Harold Perkins, his first game at off-ball linebacker under Blake Baker. Real quick, though, love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. Mr. Bob Grace was on our flight with Jason Ramsdell and Mr. Fun's Travel of Bob Grace of South Point Volkswagen. Great man. Great opportunity to chat with him for a little bit during the trip. They're just great people. You know, whenever I go into South Point Volkswagen, it's like I'm around my friends because I am. They are my friends. I've enjoyed for 15 years now this relationship I've had with South Point Volkswagen. Awesome people that'll treat you right. You're in the market for a vehicle, just put Volkswagen on your list. And if you're going to shop a Volkswagen, there's no place in this state you should stop other than South Point Volkswagen, because they are Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They move more inventory so they can give you a better price. And obviously, when they move that much inventory, they have a better selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's at South Point Volkswagen, where the Labor Day sales event is going on right now. So get you a deal and get you a V-Dub over at South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, one more from Brian Kelly here, who was asked to comment on Blake Baker, Harold Perkins at off-ball linebacker in his first game under Blake Baker.
I like him where he is, right? I like him inside the core of our defense. I think what Blake talked to him about and what Blake and I talked about is we need to get him to narrow his focus a little bit more. And when I say narrow his focus, he has a tendency that he wants to do a little bit too much. You know, he's so eager to want to make plays because we've put him in that playmaker position, you know, so much. When you work in the kind of areas that he works, your focus has to narrow down a lot more. And so continue to work on narrowing his focus, getting his eyes trained in a different way will be the big improvement we see from week 1 and week 2.
So one of the things that Blake Baker talked about this offseason when he was asked about Harold Perkins, it was physically he can do it. It's just about reps at this point. Well, the only way you get reps is by playing. So I am going to be really fascinated to see Harold Perkins' progression from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4 and so on. Because if Blake Baker's right, and I have no reason to think he isn't, he's a really smart defensive coach, by the end of the season, Harold Perkins should be really good in that role. All right. Let's knock out our final break of the show. We'll get Otter Locks when we come back to wrap it up next. Been a good one. Thanks for being here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Heads up, business owners. Trying to hire the right person for your business, you need Glow Resources. You've hired people in the past, and for whatever reason it doesn't work out. Maybe you're looking for those skilled blue-collar workers, and sometimes you run into issues with reliability or the effectiveness or the qualifications of doing the job that you need. You need Glow Resources. Look, Glow Resources, their headquarters are right here in Baton Rouge. They just built a beautiful new office right on Perkins Road near Quail. Jareth Nakhan, awesome dude, their president, CEO. He's built such a fun culture over there. You walk in the doors, you get it. I mean, they had like an interior decorator come in. It's such a fun vibe when you walk into their office. And yes, while they're here, they're also all over the country with offices in Dallas and Miami and all over the place. And they help businesses all over the country, placing employees and jobs all over the world. So if it's skilled blue-collar labor, if it's their professional placement division, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has back-to-school savings like $16,000 off 25 Ram 1500 trucks. We're open for business in our beautiful new showroom and taking $16,000 off. All new Bayou vehicles come with a complimentary extended warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
There's nothing chill about a hot, sweaty line. Unless...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Certainly appreciate our friends over at Sunshine. Again, that John Deere Gator, the LSU John Deere Gator, is going to be out on campus Saturday for LSU Nichols. You want to check it out? Check it out right there by the PMAC. Make sure you get your raffle tickets over at sunequip.com, sunequip.com. All right, let's go. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
All right, Otto, welcome home, man.
What's up, Matthew? Good to be home.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Great trip in Vegas, but disappointing outcome. Glad to be back for certain, man. How did you fare?
I did fine. I got beat up on Saturday now. College football on Saturday was not good to me. So there's no doubt about that. But a lot of baseball, a little tennis, a little horses,
I bet.
all over the place. And even when in game or halftime, second half line, BC was +9. I was like, they're better. Matt, I like the middle, but I'm like, I can't do that here.
Yeah.
No. So, this just in. They got some issues. Let's get to our picks for tonight.
Okay.
Baseball. We got the Milwaukee-St. Louis game. We're going to go over 8. Savali, who's been okay lately, but he's the weakest starter for them, for the Brewers. And Matt's for St. Louis, his numbers are not good at all. Milwaukee 5th in Major League Baseball in scoring. 8 is a soft number to me. We're going to go over Milwaukee, St. Louis, 8.
Okay.
And then a little first 5 parlay. Skeens, first 5 for the Pirates.
Okay.
And then Chris Sale, first 5 with the Braves. Should be about plus 111.
Okay. It's just going to take me a minute to punch all this into the app. I'm not nearly as fast as you are.
and then also we're going to double up with Sale and go the Braves minus 1.5 runs.
All right. ATL minus 1.5. Got it.
He's just lights out, man. So he has been really strong. Might be one of his best seasons ever, but he's a clear favorite, minus 800 to win the Cy Young so far. So
1 minute remaining.
Sale and Skeens today, so we'll see.
Find that Atlanta game. But there it is, against the Rockies, at home against the Rockies. Okay. All right. I'm still trying to make this play. Anything else tonight?
That is it. No. I mean, there's a lot of games, but nothing terribly that I'll like after that. So.
All right. We've got, just to recap, Milwaukee, St. Louis over 8. Pittsburgh, Atlanta, first 5 parlay, and Atlanta on the run line. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Modesto Mexican Grill on Burbank, right next to Walk-On. So.
Awesome. Glad to have you back, and we'll talk tomorrow. Thanks, Otter.
All right. Good luck.
All right, we're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them. Locations all over Louisiana. You need tires. You need the best. You need Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires, wholesale prices. They're just the best. Tell them Matt sent you in over at Shaw Bills. Muse Paulie, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
All right, get on down the road. I want to remind you about Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Had a great time in Vegas. One of my business partners, Richard Tilley, actually Trent Davis as well. 3/5 of our ownership group. We're all out in Las Vegas, but we're back and we're ready to help. I told you last week that the Louisiana Department of Insurance announced they're opening a new portal window in September, this month, where they're going to issue 300 grants for fortified roofs. If you're interested, remember, a fortified roof grant is $10,000 to put toward you fortifying your roof. If you want to learn more, we can help at Parish Construction and Roofing. We're a certified fortified roofing company, meaning we are certified to install a fortified roof. We can help you through the entire process, getting your grant approved, your application, all that stuff, and then getting your fortified roof installed. Let us help. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward.